All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all. My name is Professor Dr. Razman and I will be your Master of Ceremony for today's event. Welcome to the 7th PBS MAICSA Colloquium on Corporate Governance, an annual event conducted in collaboration between Putra Business School and the Malaysian Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators, MAICSA. A little bit of this colloquium, the background of this colloquium. The colloquium was first held on the 27 December 2020 via an online platform. And since then, we have had the event every year without fail, all through the online platform, including this 7th edition. Before we begin the event properly, let me share with you the objective of this colloquium. This colloquium is the platform where our MBA in corporate governance students will present their research findings from their MBA project papers, which focus on the current or latest corporate governance issues. There will be 4 research findings to be presented today. Just like the previous colloquium, we will also have a presentation on case studies related to corporate governance issues. So there will be 2 presentations on the research project paper, and there will be 2 presentation on case studies related to CG issues. There are many MBA students in corporate governance, but due to the time constraint, we only managed to choose only 4 of them to present their findings here in this colloquium. So we choose mostly the project papers that receive very good grades. We will also have 2 esteemed MAICSA members to become our experts. Okay, I'm going to introduce them later. They will listen to the presentation and participate in this colloquium by sharing their comments, insights, perhaps some anecdotes on the relevant issues being presented. So to the presenter themselves, don't worry, this is not a proposal defense or viva session. We already graded you, so we're not going to downgrade your marks or whatever. So this is just merely a sharing session because such a shame when you come up with a good finding uh, and new knowledge and it's not being shared by the public, especially the practicing COSEC or the aspiring one. So this is the main objective. It's just a sharing session. So for today's colloquium, we have invited MAICSA members, PBS staff, students, as well as member of the public to participate. So it's open to all. We are honored to have Yang Berbahagia Dato' Akbar Moiduni, MAICSA President and Group Chairman and Managing Director of MINC Corporate Consultant, to give his keynote speech for this colloquium. Before I invite Yang Berbahagia Dato' Akbar Moiduni to give his keynote speech, I would like to give a little bit of introduction on him. So Dato' Akbar is the current president of MAICSA and has been a member of the council and also have served the role of deputy president, vice president, and honorary secretary in the past. And he has been the chairman of many committees, including membership committee, constitution task force, national investigating group, and also deputy chairman of the technical compliance and governance committee. And Dato Akbar also, the chairman of the MAICSA Bar Council Joint Working Group Committee, Institute representative on the Corporate Practice Consultative Forum, CPCF Technical Committee, Technical Focus Group set up by the Companies Commission of Malaysia, and also Institute representative on the Company Secretaries Consultative Group. He obtained his ICSA professional qualification from London, UK in 1986 and has a valid practicing license for the past, I think, probably reaching 40 years already. He's a group chairman and CEO of MIC Group of Companies, Malaysia, since 1986, which provide corporate secretarial and governance consultancy services to more than 1,000 companies. So his professional experience has been on various multifaceted of secretarial assignment, including consultancy, restructuring, due diligence for both multinational and local corporation. His client comprise of private and public companies, and he has involved in many speaking engagement at forum, especially focusing on corporate legislation, corporate dispute. Dato Akbar also is a member of the Malaysian Institute of Management and a member of the Disciplinary Board of the Bar Council Malaysia. So without much ado, I would like to invite yang berbahagia Dato' Akbar Modini, MAICSA President, to give his keynote speech. Dipersilakan, Dato'.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rasman. Yang berbahagia Prof. Dr. Asmawani Abdul Rahman, CEO and President of Putra Business School, Prof. Dr. Ahmed Razman Abdul Latif, Program Coordinator for MBA in Corporate Governance. Then, of course, Mr. Kenneth Fu Po Kian, member of the MAICSA Education Committee. Then we have Associate Prof. Dr. Muhammad Yaziz Al-Basra, member of the MAICSA Education Committee. Distinguished guests, faculty members, students, and fellow professionals. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to all of you. I'm glad to see everyone here on time, right? I know it's a Saturday. So on behalf of the Malaysian Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators, MAICSA, it gives me great pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to the 7th PBS MAICSA Colloquium 2025, held in collaboration with Putra Business School, PBS. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to PBS for inviting me to deliver this keynote address. It is an honor to be part of this important event, a platform where the future of governance is explored, debated, and advanced by the very people who will shape it. This colloquium, now in its 7th edition, stands as a testament to our shared vision to nurture competent, ethical, and forward-thinking governance professionals who can respond to the complexities of today's corporate environment with confidence and integrity. So let me first commend all the students who have submitted papers and are participating in this colloquium. Your commitment to advancing knowledge in corporate governance is highly commendable. You are not just learners, you are future leaders in governance. The topics you have researched and presented today are not just academic. They are real-world challenges. Your insights will continue and contribute to the evolving body of governance practices in Malaysia and beyond. As many of you are aware, MAICSA is proudly celebrating its 65th anniversary this year as a division of the Chartered Governance Institute, PGI, UK. We are almost as old as the nation itself, an enduring institution that has stood the test of time. This milestone reflects not only our rich legacy, but also our enduring relevance. We are the only chartered professional body in Malaysia dedicated exclusively to governance, risk, and compliance. Our international standards and ethical code of conduct ensure that members of MAICSA are equipped to serve at the highest level, whether in the boardroom, regulatory bodies, multinational corporations, SMEs, or the public sector. By being a member of MISA, governance professionals gain recognition both locally and internationally, enabling them to advance their careers across borders, engage in continuous professional development through current training programs, and uphold a code of conduct and ethic that places them at the forefront of the governance industry. Ladies and gentlemen, corporate governance is more than a framework. It is the soul of a responsible, transparent, and ethical organization. It is a conscience that guides decision making and the compass that keeps corporations on the path of accountability and trust. As governance professionals, your role is multifaceted. You are no longer just corporate secretaries or administrators. You are strategic advisors, governance architects, risk navigators, and custodians of corporate conscience. And here's a key question: why does governance matter more today than ever before? We are living in an era of disruption and transformation. The world is changing at breakneck speed. Stakeholders, whether investors, regulators, consumers, or civil society, are demanding greater transparency, sustainability, and ethical conduct. From ESG compliance to anti corruption frameworks, from digital governance to climate risk disclosures, the governance landscape is shifting dramatically. And amidst all this, the demand for skilled, ethical governance professionals has never been higher. This is where your journey begins. Technological advancement will continue to shape governance practices. Artificial intelligence, blockchain, and data analytics are becoming indispensable tools in compliance monitoring, board evaluations, risk assessments, and even shareholder engagement. But here's a reality check: no amount of technology can replace human judgment, ethical leadership, or principled decision making. These are the attributes that truly define great governance, and they are attributes you must carry with you always. Ladies and gentlemen, as you present your papers today, remember this. Preparing for the colloquium may have taken weeks of effort, but becoming a chartered secretary or chartered governance professional takes a lifetime of commitment. The Chartered Governance Qualifying Program, the CGQP, which aligns with your MBA studies, offers a globally recognized pathway to professional excellence. It is not easy, but it is worth it. You will be equipped with the tools to lead and influence with authority, insight, and integrity. Our profession is built on continuous learning. Governance is dynamic. Regulations evolve. Shareholders' expectations change. You must remain agile, informed, and connected. And this is where MISA stands by your side with access to thought leadership, PPD programs, technical guidance, mentorship, and a professional network that spans industries and borders. Collaboration is the cornerstone of governance. I urge you to engage with your peers, connect with the profession, and contribute actively to the body of knowledge. Governance is not a solo act, it is a collective effort. So let me also highlight a key dimension of governance today: sustainability, and ESG. True governance today means creating value that is sustainable, inclusive, and responsible. You must be champions of corporate purpose, advocates of ethical leadership, and enablers of long term stakeholders' value. The future belongs to professionals who can balance performance with principles, innovation with integrity, and ambition with accountability. Be that professional. In closing, I hope today's colloquium will inspire you, challenge you, and reaffirm your belief in the power of good governance. So let us work together to build a generation of governance professionals who will not just follow rules, but shape the future. To the organizers, thank you for your dedication in making this event a success. And to the students, I wish you the very best in your presentations and your journey ahead. And with this, it is my pleasure and honor to officially declare the 7th PBS MAICSA Colloquium 2025 open. Thank you. Over to you, Trustman.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Akbar Moidini for the keynote speech and to officially open 7 PBS MAICSA Colloquium on corporate governance. We are now ready to begin our colloquium. And before we start with the student presentation, as usual, as the customary now with the online event, can I request all participants to switch on their camera so we can take the group photo? Okay. So I think we have 2 pages to screenshot. So you have to hold on your smile for a while. So let me do the screen. Let me wait a few seconds for everyone to switch on their camera. Okay, I need to admit a few more. There are few participants joining in. Okay, welcome to those who just joined. If you can switch on the camera so that we can take the group photo. Okay, I will start with the first page. And there will be 2 pages, but I'm not so sure whether you know whether you're on the first or second page. So just smile. So I'm going to start now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is for the first page. Um, hold on. Okay. Sorry, pakcik dah tua, slow sikit nak screenshot. Okay, now on the second page, smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you everyone. So the photo session already finished. Okay, now we can start our colloquium. Just like the previous edition of this event, we are honored to have 2 panelists from MAICSA. So allow me to introduce them first. The first one, we have with us Mr. Kenneth Fu Pokian, SCSCGP, Chartered Secretary, which is actually our regular panel expert member of this colloquium. So I have been enjoying his remarks, comment, insight for the past few colloquiums, and we are very happy to have him again. Mr. Kenneth Fu Fokian is a Chartered Secretary and Fellow member of the MAICSA. member of Education Committee on MAICSA, and obtained his ICSA in 1982, LLB honors from the University of London in 1992, and certificate in legal practice in 1993. He used to serve with the council member of MAICSA, and also currently the honorary secretary of the Malaysian Corporate Council Association (MCCA). He also formerly an adjunct lecturer at University College Tunku Abdul Rahman, and he provide consultation and advice on corporate secretarial practice, corporate governance, and conducting training on these topics as well. In addition, he is the co-author of Companies Act. Oh, sorry, I forgot to spotlight for everyone so everyone can see your face, Mr. Kenneth.
Good
So
morning.
he's also the co-author of Companies Act 2016, New Dynamics of Company Law in Malaysia. Okay, and Company Meetings, Minutes and Resolution in Malaysia, published in 2017 and 2021 respectively by the Malaysian Current Law Journal. So this is Mr. Kenneth. Thank you for joining again and again on our colloquium. I appreciate it.
Yeah, good morning.
And then, and then we have, I think Dr. Yazis this is the first time becoming uh, our panel member.
That's
So, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Yazis Ali Basar is an Associate Professor in Finance, in the Faculty of Economics and Muamalat, University Science Islam Malaysia. And he has a work experience as a credit analyst for Bumiputera Commerce Bank Berhad, uh, ha- um, and has been a member of MAICSA since 2024. He obtained his PhD in finance from Cardiff University in 2012 and Master International Finance from the same university, Cardiff University in 2007, and BBM Finance in UiTM. So thank you so much, Dr. Muhammad Yazis, for joining us here today as a panel member. Okay, so let me okay, now I think we're going to have a presentation. All the presenters, cannot wait to share what they have discovered. It's a very interesting uh, insight or findings because two of them will be presenting case studies, meaning they interview people in an organization facing serious CG issues, and they will also present how um, the these issues and challenges can be addressed using a proper framework and tools. And the other two also will present a more traditional research-based approach on CG issue on at the industry level or a company level. So the format of the presentation, like I mentioned earlier, we have four presenters today. Each presenter will present his or her research findings around 20 minutes, okay, without interruption. Um, and then we will follow this presentation by 20 minutes of insight, the sharing session by the panelists. Panelists can ask questions, panelists can just, give remark, comment, doesn't matter. So all we want to achieve today is we learn something new and we can apply, put into practice on our daily life, if, especially if you are practicing company secretary or a governance officer. Um, we want to make sure this event finish on time, so I will give some indication if the presenter exceeding the time limit. Um, we also would like to encourage participation from the audience, but in order to make sure this is a smooth event, if you want to ask question to the presenter, please write the name of the presenter and the question inside the chat box, because once the first and the second presenter finish presenting, and let's say the third presenter are now doing the presentation, you can ask question to the first and second in the chat box, and they will be able to respond to your question. So make the chat box as of your platform to ask any of these presenters throughout the session. So the presenters will be happy to answer anything inside the chat box. So let's begin with the first presentation. I will introduce the first presenter, Mr. Muhammad Azmi Mukhtar. Okay, no, I call him Jimmy. Okay, I'm going to spotlight him. Jimmy, mana muka? Tak nampak. Okay, never mind. Nampak dah. Thank you, Jimmy, for joining. Okay, let me introduce, give him a brief biography profile. Engineer Technologist Muhammad Azmi Mokhtar, PMP, holds a Bachelor of Electrical Power Engineering training program and MBA Corporate Governance from Putra Business School. So with a career journey within Tenaga Nasional Berhad, he has gained comprehensive end-to-end understanding of operation from asset maintenance and project construction to strategic asset management, business strategy formulation, and digital transformation. So he also used to work as a business consultant at EY, Ernst & Young, seconded from TMB. He currently serves as Senior Manager, Special Officer, the first to the Chief Grid Officer of TMB, contributing directly to high-level strategic execution and problem solving. Basically, if you are facing electricity shortage, he is the person to be blamed. No, just kidding. His certification include corporate membership with the IEM, Institute of Engineering Malaysia, professional engineer with the Board of Engineering Malaysia, professional technologist with the Malaysia Board of Technologies, project management professional from the Project Management Institute, and also holds a teaching permit from the Ministry of Higher Education. So most likely can be invited to teach in PBS as well. So he was recognized with the Employee Excellence Award by the Grid Division in 2019. So without much further ado, I would like to invite Jimmy to start sharing your slide and present your, I think you are doing a case study, and let's hear to his presentation. Over to you, Jimmy.
Hi. Hello.
Jimmy, are you okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, but I can hear you very, very slow sound lah. But it's okay. I'll just go
It's okay.
straight to the presentation.
Yes,
Is my screen visible?
yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Number one, I must establish that I cannot listen well to this because of my location, but it's okay. So my name is Azmi, but like Prof said, he always called me Jimmy. Yeah. So I'm an engineer by practice, but then in some way my boss said if I go to MBA, if I don't go to MBA, I took Master of Electrical Engineer, I'll still be engineer. But if I take from engineering, I'll take MBA, then I'll become the boss. So that's why I take MBA lah, for all MBA students. This story is actually about a friend of mine. He was my classmate back in school. We were school together in MRSM, Greek, and then Jasin back in 2006. Yeah. So this is him. This is not me. The picture. Dr. Haq Abdul Wasa. It's about how he navigates his business through a few challenges. Yeah. I can simply say that there is some element of betrayal, sabotage in early stage of his business. But he's doing well now. He got like 40 branches all over nations with his clinic. We call it Aesthetica Medispa. It's an aesthetic clinic where you can do your facial, you can groom many things. Non-intrusive means that you don't have to inject anything, so it's just applying from outside. So the title is Navigating Growth and Challenges, a case study of risk management at Estetica Medispa. I'm going to start now. So yeah, I divided this into a few sub-chapters. Number one is I'll briefly tell about the founder, consultant, and the company. The founder is Dr. Haq, but then the consultant is the main protagonist in this case study. But the name has been changed, and so there's nothing fishy here. And then I'll tell about the company, and then I'll go through a series of traveling events that Dr. Haq identified, and then he triggered it, and then discussed during the board meeting, and then what was discussed in the board, and the mitigation that was taken and that could be taken, which is a risk management framework, and then how he navigated through the solution, and then the recommendation from my case study. So far so good, yeah. I still can be heard, right?
Yes, please continue.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I just know that I just off my cam. Now am I visible? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So because I have only 20 minutes, I'll go through very quick about the founder. So the story started in 2012 when Dr. Haq he graduated from Alexandria, Egypt, and then he worked as medical officer for 3 years. You know, medical officer. Overwork, maybe underpaid. Some said that, but I don't say that. I just quoted what he said. But then he said he developed his mental strength and then his strong character when he was a medical officer. So for 3 years, 2012 until 2014, then he worked mainly in hospital Kuala Terengganu, and then he moved to clinic. So when he moved to clinic, 8 to 5 job. So and then he got more time, and then he found out that oh, I like to do business, because from his observation, I also park a graph here. It says that aesthetic business was forecasted to be improved from 2014 until 2020-30. Maybe I missed the 2017 and below there, but it's okay. But it's on the upward trend. So Dr. Haq saw this as opportunity, and then he also received a lot of feedbacks that a lot of aesthetic clinics at that time in 2014, 2013, most of them were not operated by medical doctors. Most of them are maybe artists, aestheticians, but not medical doctors. So he saw vacuum to be filled. So that's what businessman is all about, right? They see problem and then they solve it. So in 2015, Dr. Haq, I just call him Haq lah. He resigned his job, and then he decided to open his first clinic. It's in 2015. The clinic called Estetica Medispa. The first clinic opened in Kuala Terengganu, and then it provide advanced non-intrusive solution, anti-aging, and then skin rejuvenation, all things that ladies like and more men like it like that. But looking at his background, he was a medical officer without any proper business experience, in experience wise and in theoretical wise. He was not a MBA student, unlike us. So he started with his courage, and of course with a mentor. He went to this program. There are some famous program conducted in Malaysia. Some doctors, they talk about how you become a millionaire, stuff like that. So he was one of the participants, and during that um, he know a guy, yeah, another medical doctor. That medical doctor also opened his clinic somewhere in Malaysia, and then they talk, and then they became friends, and then Dr. Haq, then he said that the acquaintance said that to Dr. Haq, hey, why don't I help you? I can become your business consultant. Let me guide you to open your first clinic. So that is how the consultant, the acquaintance, consultant relationship started with Dr. Haq. So you see that there is not much. It's more about gentleman agreement. So there's not so much about commercial at the time, because all in Dr. Haq mind was, I want to start business, because and then how do I start and where do I start? So of course the natural way is to find a mentor to guide him through. So although between Dr. Haq and this consultant, they never laid out a formal agreement or a formal scope. But then what I got from him is from my interview session, I came up with this table on the right, on the scope and description, what role the consultant play in establishing Dr. Haq first business. Yeah. So the first one is business framework development. You see that the consultant helping with the business plan, operation strategy, financial projection, and then even design the Medispa framework, how the clinic should run, workflow process from the booking to the counter, meeting the doctor, and then upsell, stuff like that. And then even the consultant and Dr. Haq, they talk about business growth and operational advisory. It means that they know this is their first clinic, but it won't be the last. So they're looking at to expand the clinic more. So Dr. Haq and the consultant has identified many locations to open more branch. For example, in KL, Klang Valley, of course, JB, all the big cities. And then number three is the tricky one is the consultant help with the supply chain management. Means that he introduced Dr. Haq to suppliers, introduced to materials, and then he set up the supply chain line. And then from here alone, we know that Dr. Haq depended on the consultant. If not 100%, it's 99%. Yeah. That this is how it all started. And then with the help from the business consultant, we just call it I forgot what name I put in my case study. We just call it Ahmad. Ahmad. So with the help of Ahmad, Dr. Haq managed to have a stable operation, and then the net profit, it shows profit in your first year of business. It is not always like that for first year business, but it is for that, because you don't know how much salary Dr. Haq took if you look at the account. So it's more than that, yeah. And then the 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 company, we call it Estetica Medispa, the board director, only two people, Dr. Haq and his brother. So if you look at the setup, it's Dr. Haq set the company based on people that he trusts. So two small board directors with 2%, and then he have his clinic manager, his operational team staff, and then a solid operational team lah. And then that is ready to be expanded when the time comes. So the business consultant is not in the operational structure. He's set outside because it's not on monthly pay. He got the payment based on deliverable. For example, business plan, this business plan, okay, I like it, doctor, I say I like it, okay, so that I pay you. Then they have this 20% revenue sharing. So with this 71,000, so he got 14,000. That's for direct, for easy understanding lah. So from there, there's not much of commercial. It's just gentleman agreement. And then the problem started next. Yeah, when this one is a bit okay. I think I missed one deck. But it's okay. But the problem started when the business consultant, after 1 year in 2016, actually I have one deck, one more slide, but it's missing. But so I try to narrate verbally. Yeah. In 2016, the business consultant, the Ahmad, after seeing the success of the clinic, they have a good building here in Kuala Terengganu, and then there's a net profit of 71,000. The business consultant came to Dr. Haq and then said that, hey, about our business growth and operational expansion, I would like to open second Estetica Medispa in KL. So let us stamp our footprint there faster, but it will be, let me operate it. I'll amalgamate, or I'll just mirror whatever setup we have in Kuala Terengganu, and then I just open in KL. And then again, Dr. Haq was hesitate at first, but then because of um, another gentleman agreement that said, okay, I'll give you some of the profit, and then this is important for us, and then the next we can open together. So Dr. Haq was convinced by the business plan that was put up to him. But there are two things happen here. Number one is all the decision is by Dr. Haq as managing director and the board of director. It did not involve his brother. His brother is just sat there idly, not a really active board of director. And then even though Dr. Haq has his big about 20 staff under him, including his clinic manager, his advisor, but they are not in the process of decision making. So it's only Dr. Haq and the consultant. So there's a early gap that identified there. But like I said, he's a medical officer and that consultant is his mentor. So what happened was uh, in after 6 months only, after Dr. Haq agreed with the first clinic opening, and then after 6 months, Dr. Haq started to hear a lot of rumors about, number one, he heard from his own customer that, hey, Dr. Haq, you opened several more clinics in KL. I went to your clinic. It was good. So that was the trigger from his own customers. So Dr. Haq did some background check because I only agreed to one Medispa, but then there's a few. Then he actually went to site to visit, and then he realized there's three more clinics open within 6 months without he realize what's going on. And then he looked at the organization chart. Names are closely related to the consultant, to Ahmad and his wife. So at that time, Dr. Haq, of course, he confronted Ahmad and said, "What happened?" But then Ahmad said, "You agreed to expand, so I expand." So all the things, the problem happened there, and then Dr. Haq did not get the percentage that he was promised to get. And then another thing, there's no IP involved. It's just the company name is Estetica Medispa, but the clinic name is Estetica Medispa. So Dr. at this time, he doesn't know about my IPO, and then um, all the intellectual property registration. So they have dispute on who owned the brand at that time. It's only after 1.5 years because the consultant has a lot of capital, so he opened it faster than Dr. Haq and his brother. So and then Dr. Haq also had the complication to get his medical supply, and then his a lot of chemical. When you want to do your beauty clinics, you need a lot of chemical from the suppliers. So because of this, if you look at here, the supply chain management was under the consultant before, so he controlled the supply chain. So Dr. Haq suddenly got the difficulty after he confronted with the consultant. And then he triggered it, and then he checked with the supplier. Oh, supplier said, um, the Kuala Terengganu branch owned by Dr. Haq will be closed. So we don't want to supply to you because we're afraid that we cannot get back the money. So we only supply to KL side of Estetica Medispa, stuff like that. So the consultant said that I'm the owner now, so listen to me. This is how we will do business. So Dr. Haq, in a way, was sabotaged. Actually, he was interviewed in a mass media, I think in Nona in previous year. He talked about this, but like how naive and how he thought that it could be better at that time. Okay, so that's the two problem there. So I'll go straight to how this. Then Dr. Haq convened a board meeting, and then he laid out everything on the table to the board directors, and then they just know, oh, what happened? I don't know. So what do we do now? Stuff like that. So they came up, of course, in my case study. Of course, what really happened for during that time was different. It's different way, but during the case study, we suggested a different solution. I suggested for Dr. Haq. I said, hey, I learned MBA from Prof. Razman. So he told me about risk management framework. So actually, this could be your problem now could be mitigated or could be identified earlier, so it won't, number one, it won't happen again in the future, another business consultant, and number two, what do you do now to put up the fire if we were back in 2016? Yeah. So like Prof. Razman always said in his risk management class, risk management is about identifying what obstacle for you that can hinder you to achieve strategy objective. So I laid out. Actually, up until today, they don't have the clinic. The Medispa doesn't have this, so it's okay. It's just a simple work. Very MBA-ish. So I help in a way to retell the story in different way. So we laid out strategy objective from one to there are four strategy objective for this clinic, and then laid out the type of risk, because you need to in risk management framework you need to is it strategic, is it market, is it operational, or is it reputation, because you want to each of the risks have different impact, different frequency, and then hence you will have a different risk event and different mitigation. So the tool of analysis that was used in my case study was this committee of sponsoring organization, COSO enterprise risk management framework, to mitigate the challenge and then at the same time to avoid this to happen again. So why COSO? Of course, there are many other risk management framework that could be used, but one of the topics that I discussed with Prof at that time is COSO. Is rather very careful punya risk management, and it's quite straightforward and can be implemented even to a small company. Okay. It's not a standalone function because the COSO will cover end to end from strategy to operation of business. So um, this is the underlying principle of risk management framework. There are like 5 principle that we need to evaluate, and then there are 20 steps that 20 from here. One, exercise board right oversight. For example, if from what I told you just now, board risk oversight, that's not happened here because the second board director was out of the radar. It's all Dr. Haq. So the decision, he's the decision maker, he's the checker, his operation, so all on him. So the the risk oversight did not happen there, and then and then uh, a lot of thing, and then the company never defined risk appetite. There's no such thing happened there. But when we go through it, this is a very good step that can make you think better and discuss better with the process before you do something or you take decision. And then you must have some mitigation that if something bad happen to you, at least you fall on a softer landing. So and then from here, we evaluated the company. I evaluated the company from this 20 aspect, and then we the risk likelihood is established in COSO. So we just this is MBA-ish. So but it is very useful for us to categorize the risk. And then from the strategy objective here, this is risk event. This is real risk event that we identified for Estetica Medispa, and then divided. We from Dr. Haq, he said that he has these parameters for his company that will define is it the risk is critical or insignificant. So it must be arranged in such a way, and then this is the theory from COSO that say how you risk rate evaluation metric, how you put which one is high, which one is low based on likelihood, and then the impact. This is impact and this is likelihood. So you'll know the risk is high or low or medium. So if it's high, you want to monitor it frequently and you want to have a better control. If low, you might you might put it aside or you might ignore it. It's not so important at that time. So this is a type of control that was identified based on COSO also, preventive, although you want to prevent it, or detective. Is quite low, and the corrective is the last one lah. So from Dr. Haq, they are corrective because it already happened, and then there were also preventive that was introduced to avoid same thing happen again, like banana fruit twice, something like that. And then after that, we need to have a tool to say that after you do all the risk mitigation, you identify, and then you chart it at which medium or high or low, and then you must rate yourself from, are you satisfied with the control? You have some winner weak, and then what is the things that you can be improved. So it's a complete cycle of how you want to manage your business well. And then, of course, this is type of treatment. Avoid, reduce, accept. It's all simple, but you'll be surprised that in my case study, it did not happen at earlier stage. Then when I talk to the talk, they say, if I knew this in 2015, then it won't be like this. It won't be that hard. I'll be more prepared to face the music. And then this is the real risk heat map, means that we have like 10 risks that we identify, and then we map it. So risk number one, risk number two, risk number eight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 risks that are high risk and then should be taken care of. So Dr. Haq, he should not let his site from here. So this one is still okay. And this one you still need to manage. So this is the case study is all about. So we listed what is the risk event, and then this is how we put it on the risk zone based on likelihood and impact, and then we categorize it first because you want it to be more structured. So at the end, I'll come up with the risk rating. There are 7 high risk and then 3 moderate and total low. So in my case study, I just focus on the high risk. Okay, and then this is the one of the solution that been put up, the establishment of risk register. For example, in the strategy objective 3, what could hinder to achieve stakeholder engagement is poor due diligence for selecting business partners. Somebody must approve it, which is certainly board of directors. So we put it in this way, from risk category, what is the description, and then risk owner is who. This is previous and then potential trigger, and then existing control. You see here is always managing director discretion, because in 2015 only Dr. Haq decide yes and no. So the real mitigation plan that must be done is background check, management, and board approval. It means that Dr. Haq he should not simply say yes on his own. You must have a process of approval, and then there are checking being done. Who is this guy, and what is he's all about? Stuff like, which did not happen during that time. So, Prof, how long do I have?
You only have 2 minutes left.
Oh, 2 minutes. Okay, I'll finish it fast. Okay, this is another risk. So I have like, I think about 10 risk register, 7 register that came up from the case study. So, for example, one of these is potential trigger overlay on trust. This is what happened. So existing control is still managing director. So this should be avoided. So contract formalization this is something that you think it is naturally should be taken, but if you don't put it on the paper, and then you don't support it with the process, and then you don't put role and people to take accountability to it, you'll be surprised that it can happen. Blunder can happen because of some charming guy talk about, or some 30 years of friendship can elude you towards agree into something that you will regret later on. Yeah. So this is another alternative solution, but I just straight to the conclusion that it revealed that even though the first year business of Dr. Haq was successful, but he did not see the negative side of it, or the risk that can threaten it to grow further. So when we implemented the COSO framework, it also brought more clarity of how the storm might come, yeah, and then how you want to address the fallout. Oh, I call it Ikhwan, not Ahmad. Ikhwan situation, brand reputation damage because he was bad-mouthed, with the supplier, and then the customer said that KL, you open business branches in KL, but actually you didn't. So if anything happened to KL business, like there's a mistake or some customer got their face burned, so it will implicate Dr. Haq business in Kuala Terengganu. So that are the kind of brand reputation damage that I talk about. And that's supply chain disruption where Dr. Haq couldn't get his material to run his business. He almost closed it because you imagine that we have 2 weeks of appointments lined up, but you don't have materials to treat your patient. So it will lead to financial loss. And then in the end, it will hinder his brand expansion, and then problem with IP. So to secure this robust risk management framework is needed is us, because you as an MBA student, when I start my case study, you don't be scared or shy to approach businessman or successful entrepreneur, because you'll be surprised of, even though they are successful, there are room for us to improve using this framework, but you just need more formal education. You need to have like I said, people, process, and some technology to put in place, because it will enable Aesthetic Company Spa for a better future. Okay, thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Jimmy, for keeping on time. So I would like to invite any of the panel, Mr. Kenneth, Dr. Yazis, who would like to start first. Mr. Kenneth?
Yeah, yeah. Not sure whether you all can hear me loud and clear, but
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
yeah. Okay, thank you, Dr. Rasman and Jimmy. Well done for the presentation. Very interesting that you've put up a case study of a so-called real life company, and credit to your professor as well. You know that you are able to use your knowledge to apply to this particular case study, as well as highlight to the founder and this company the relevance of what you have studied, especially in applying what we call the COSO ERM framework. But I noticed that your methodology in this research would be so-called interview with the founder, and then of course from there, probably you got a lot of insights from him as well. Huh? Now, just a question that I pose to you. Um, Before, I mean, looking at it from a very ordinary layman's view, when you got this insight from the founder himself, without even thinking about COSO, ERM framework, or any other thing that, as far as the academic is concerned, what was your observation, or what was your opinion at that time?
When I first heard about, actually, Prof, I knew this. He never, my friend, he never told any of his good friends about this. We all knew this from his interview in some mainstream media, that he talked about this. After 4 years, it happened. Because we all know him as a successful guy, kan? Ferrari, Lambo guy. So always hang out with us with a bodyguard and driver. So we don't know he has all this issue. We thought he's the cleverest in the room. So it was then when I started want to do my MBA, then I read, I got point to make you as my case study, kan? And then I asked him, what happened? So to be frank, when I approached him, I already have some good background of MBA because it's my last semester already. So I understand many things from the classes. So my opinion at that time is quite structured already. So I directly, actually there are two people. Like I can have a lens from two people. From me, I directly think about risk management. And then number two, I think about the strategic decision making class that I took, about how you make your SWOT plan, all the pestle, whatever, that can also lead towards a better governance, that you won't get deceived. But then from my friend who was also a doctor, he also listened to this story together with my friend, Dr. Haq. They said, hey, you should go report to police. You should go to him and then go tell his parents about this, go tell a friend, go write on your Facebook wall about what he did to you. So the reaction between when you don't have the tools, the understanding, versus when you are quite a layman, it's was totally different, Prof. So then I heard from my friend that you should even go have a seat, have a talk, 10 times talk, 20 times talk. But in the end, they don't think about how to prevent it in the future. They only think about immediate firefighting to put up the fire. So I think that's the observation that I can share.
Yeah, yeah. So I think one thing we can really see from your case study is that definitely what we call it, the altruism. Behind every success story, there's always this struggle and failures that people never realize or see that. They always think about the so-called first view. Wow, that guy is so impressive, but they do not see the hard work behind it, the so-called struggles, and of course the probably frustration and many other things lah that people never realizes. Just like what we call the seeing a tip of the iceberg, but the majority of the iceberg is below the sea. And the other thing that I can see that you have used very effectively in terms of your study and applying it is your so-called qualification in the masters here, despite your background in being an engineer. And I think that's where I think probably in terms of especially graduates with masters in the masters program, it really offer you a lot of opportunity for you to be consultant as well as to even have your own business in terms of that. Because I think from my own perspective, I can see from my client that they don't really have all this sort of structured outlook and then the guidance from people like your guys. And the other reason maybe is that probably they think that, wow, this guy got master, so must have to pay a very high salary for him or her. So that's where that's where this so-called demand and supply factor comes in. The market thinks that they have to pay you a higher salary than the so-called normal graduates. And that's why when it comes to the businessmen or businesswomen, they always tend to start things or their venture without putting them into a proper framework or business plan. But of course, I guess this is also something quite natural. Sometimes at the end of the day, if you look at the background of each and every person, like your friend, Dr. Haq, I believe that, well, of course, initially, I mean, until now, of course, he's still a doctor, a doctor, medical doctor. But then our interest, and then probably due to his so-called time, available time, he started to think along this line after especially meeting up with that so-called acquaintance. And but some other people, when they start a business, because what they call it, due to the circumstances, no choice. You lose your job. How are you going to get another job? So that's where some people want to start their own business. Some, of course, they see the success story only, and then they are thinking that oh, I want to be successful as my boss. Then they start their own business. So you can see that basically, as far as the society is concerned, as far as maybe people are concerned, you don't really start business with a proper structure plan. But somehow or other, at the end of the day, the moment you commence on your business, you realize as a businessman that it is always better to have something structured in terms of the framework, the organization itself. So from your case study, I think it's very obvious that all these risks that you pointed out are risks that arises in any organization. So definitely, I think your particular case study is so useful. I think that you should be also thinking about how to use it in your other consultation and presentation as well. And in case that you want to really start your own consulting business, this is something that is so good, in terms of that. I was thinking that don't know whether I can get your slides also or not. just to
Can.
just to so called change all the facts, but definitely the structure of your case study was very well done. I like all this so-called proper preparation in terms of the slides itself. Just that, of course, I think you initially spent too much time about your founder and your friend so-called story that you forgot about that there's a limitation of time, and I think you didn't have enough time to present all your slides. But thank you so much for sharing your case study. It was really, really good.
Thank you, Mr. Kenneth.
Thank you.
Don't worry, Mr. Kenneth. This is a seventh edition. For the past, I think the first five edition, we have compiled all the findings and make it turn it into book, and we have presented to MAICSA library, so all MAICSA member will be able to have access to all
Okay,
our
okay.
content. And
Yeah,
we are now, once this colloquium ends, so we're going to start work on the sixth and seventh edition to transform into book, and we'll be also sharing with all
yeah,
MAICSA member. Don't worry,
fantastic.
Mr.
Yeah,
Kenneth, you will get your
fantastic.
stories.
Yeah, okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Yazis, anything else you'd like to add? Dr. Yazis?
Thank you very much, Prof. Razman, and congratulations, Jimmy, for for me, a very great study, a very interesting case study, uh, a very nice and useful finding. So the first thing, the method used for this study is case study. So it's definitely is a different of what has been used on as what mentioned by Prof. Razman just now, the conventional research approach. So some students they are avoid to use a case study because it's very challenging to do a case study compared to the conventional due to the data collection. So here, I think, Jimmy, you have a very good advantage here, as Dr. Ha is used to be your good friend. So it is a very some sort like uh, what we call that is make it easier to do a data collection due to the interview and to get an data for the research. So from this study, we learned that basically, in term of the most important thing is the awareness in term of the risk management and also the governance structure or governance risk management. So especially for the small and medium enterprise, because as for public listed, we understand we have the MCCG. Yet the MAICSA come up with what we call that the guideline for the SME, but in term of the awareness and also the actual implementation regarding the risk management approach, the governance approach for the small and medium enterprise in Malaysia is still new. So this is a very good finding to say how relevant is the governance risk management in term of the success, in term of the operational of the small and medium enterprise. Just to get your feedback, Jimmy. Here, in this study, you have presented a very good theoretical framework, yet, and then the application of that framework, especially in terms of enterprise risk management framework. How do you see the challenge for the some sort like application of what has been discussed in the theory with the actual implementation in the risk management framework?
Okay, Prof. Actually, when my friend got the case study, the final case study, I showed to him, this is what I think you should do. And then, of course, this backed by Prof. Razman, who is very famous all over the nation, kan? And then he said that the first thing he said that I'm going to pay you for this. It's real. When he said I'm going to pay you for this is a hard work. He said that I have a lot of people under me until now. He has his COO now. He has developed because he has 40 branches now. This happened. He still said, I want to pay you. Can I pay you? Can you become part of me? He said that, just looking at this. So number one, doesn't necessarily professional in the organization, although it's big, they realize this. Maybe some fashion, I don't know, some fashion business, I think they also have this because most of the owners and founders have the same traits. They came from somewhere and then they try, and then of course out of 100 people, maybe 5 or 6 yang successful endeavor. So when he got this, and then of course, and he read through, and then part of it is I said that we need risk officer. If you don't have a risk officer, somebody needs to take the role of this or play the function of this, because I know maybe you can't afford chief risk officer, for example, right? So you need, but it may be segregated between 2 or 3 people taking care of the risk officer role. That's number one. So then he said that okay, it can be done. But I think, Prof, the hardest thing that to be implemented here is the board director itself. Means how do, from the risk management, it looks like you need a very good board of director to help Dr. Haq to really double check his decision, to really be part of the due diligence process. But then he has his brother, of course. His brother is also good, but he's also a pharmacist. Yeah, and then he also has a venture business. And then the pool of board director too is not easy to get. Yeah, the credible one, of course. Then I suggested, hey, we have this, I think, from the board director list in Security Commission or BSKL, they have this pool of director. You can check their background or what, even though you are not publicly listed, but they are the pool that easier for you to check. I think he's checking on that. And then of course, to lure a good board director into your company pun is not easy. Maybe in term of the interest, in term of the time. So then only I realized why one prominent guy has 10 boards under him, because it's really not that the talents are not so many. Yeah, I think that's the difficulty yang Dr. Haq changed. He can manage all the internal process. He can have this committee. He can have this due diligence. He can outsource it even to company to do formal background, or he can have establish a meeting, risk management. He call it monthly risk review, something like that. And then he paid outsider to do his risk management quarterly reporting. From my case study that I established, he really took it and tried to implement it. But like I said, the problem is with the people, not the process or the technology.
All right. Okay,
Okay,
that's
thank
all,
you.
Prof. Razman.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Feedback from the panel and Jimmy. For the audience, if you want to ask more about Jimmy case study, feel free to write in the chat box, and Jimmy will be able to entertain all your question. The fact that Jimmy has yet to treat me dinner, meaning he probably didn't accept the cash offer by the business owner. So, okay, let's proceed with the second presenter. So the second presenter is going to be a research based project paper, and the presenter is Miss Lau Xin Yuan. I will give a brief background on the presenter, Lau Xin Yuan. Lau Xian is a corporate secretarial senior with over 5 years of experience in corporate governance, regulatory compliance, and board support services. Sorry, I need to highlight your face. Spotlight for everyone. Okay, Lau Xian. She currently manages a portfolio of Singapore private limited and public listed companies, providing corporate secretarial support to ensure compliance with statutory obligations. Ms. Xin Yuan has a strong track record in coordinating board and shareholder meetings, preparing resolutions, maintaining statutory registers, and ensuring adherence to the Companies Act and SGS listing requirement. She recently completed her Master of Business Administration Corporate Governance from Putra Business School and holds a Bachelor of Business Administration from University Tunku Abdul Rahman. So, Ms. Lau Xiwen, I would like to invite you to present sharing your findings. You have 20 minutes to do that. Thank you. The screen is yours.
Thank you, Prof. Rasman, for the introductions. Can you all see my screen?
Yes,
Okay.
and we can hear you clearly.
Okay, thanks. Okay, good morning to everybody. My name is Lao Yuan. So I would like to start for my sharing of my project papers, which is the moderating role of family ownership in the relationship of the board diversity and company performance. So basically, the presentation will be divided into five sections, which is introductions, literature review, research methodology, finding and analysis, conclusions, and recommendations. So we went to the introductions of this topic, which is this research is designed to study the relationship of the independent variables, which is the board diversities, and also the chief executive officer duality on the dependent variables company performance, and also further investigate on the family ownership, thus moderating the both relationship of the board diversity and on the company performance, or the CEO dualities on the company performance. MCCG introduced in 2000s after the financial crisis happens in the 1997s, which to improve the transparency, risk management, and the investor trust. So further to that, MCCG 2001 recommend that at least 30% of the female representations on the board to encourage the inclusive of the decision-making process. It limits the independence director terms to 9 years, also extended by the shareholder, and promote the separations of the CEO and chairman role to prevent power concentrations. The reform aimed to enhance the board effectiveness, accountability, and transparency while encouraging the diversities, thinking, and active oversight and stronger leaderships of the boards. While choosing the family ownership as the moderator in my research is family ownership play a key role in the corporate governance, often characterized by the concentrated ownership, long-term focus of the family ownership, and also the strong alignment between the management and ownership goal. It may moderate the impact of the board diversity on the company performance by shaping the board composition and also the decision-making dynamic. According to the Corporate Governance Monitor, which is introduced in 2022 and effective from the 1st of June 2023, that mentioned that at least one woman director on the board under the listing requirements, and also recommend that at least 30% of the woman director and participations of women directors in the board. The second point is the extent of the 12-year tenure limit for the independent directors. As of the 1st of October 2022, there's among 959 public listed company in Malaysia, which 771 had at least one female director, while the rest of the 188 happened to have the male board. Out of the 5,469 directors, 4,324 of them are males, and the 1,145 are female. Nearly half of the directors were nearly at their age of 50s. So the problem is the relationship between the broad diversity and the company performance remain inconsistent and inconclusive in the existing research. So study differ in the diversity dimension examined, which is the gender diversity, age diversity, and tenure diversity, leading to fragment the findings. Many studies overlooked the contextuals of the factor like the family ownership structure, which may influence the governance of the outcome. Family ownership introduce unique dynamics based on the trust, long-term orientations, and rationale of decision-making. While this may either enhance or hinders the effect on the board diversities and CEO dualities on the company performance. There is a lack of the research on showing how the family ownership can moderate both the relationship of this board diversity on the company performance, or especially in the Malaysia's companies. Empirical research is limited regarding the impact of the different board genders compositions even in the all-female board or the mixed-gender board in the family ownership business. This research gap prevent a now understanding of how diversity can power concentrated function in the family-owned companies. By addressing the gap is crucial with enhancing the governance practice in family business, improving the board effectiveness, and also the guiding corporate governance policy in emerging market in the Malaysia. So the research question has been bring out, which is have the four. Does the board diversity, which include the dimension of age diversity, gender diversity, and tenure diversity, significantly affect the company performance? Does CEO duality significantly affect the company performance? While does family ownership moderating the relationship between the board diversity and the company performance? And last but not least, does family ownership moderate the relationship between the CEO duality and company performance? The research objective is to determine whether the board diversity has significantly affect the company performance, to determine if the CEO duality significantly affect the company performance, and to examine the moderating effect of the family ownership in the relationship between the board diversity and company performance, and to examine the moderating effect of family ownership on the relationship between the CEO duality and company performance. Now I will going to chapter 2, which is the literature review. There are two underpin theory in my research, which is first is the agency theory, which explain the conflict of interest between the shareholders, which is the principal, and the manager agents due to the separate ownership and control. This conflict can lead to the agency problem and costs such as managerial opportunities and poor decision making. Effective corporate governance, such as the board moderating, able to help to align the managerial actions with the shareholder interests. Gender diversities on the board enhance the monitoring capabilities and reduce the agency costs by promoting the board perspective and accountability. In family ownership business, agency theory remain relevant, which as family control may either mitigate or worsen the agency problem depend on the governance quality, making the family ownership a crucial moderating factor in the relationship of the board diversity and company performance. The second theory that I use is the stakeholder theory, which emphasizes the company should consider the interests of all stakeholders, not just the shareholder in their decision making. This stakeholder including the internal and external, which can influence the corporate directions and performance. Board diversity, especially the gender diversity, is linked to stronger stakeholder management, improved CSR practice, and more inclusive decision making. Diverse board enhance the learning environment and are better to positions to address the needs of the various stakeholder group. In the context of the family ownership, stakeholder theory highlight how inclusive governance support by diverse board can balance the multiple interest potential, improving both stakeholder engagement and also the overall company performance. The DVD of this study is company performance, which I chosen one of the financial indicator returns on assets ROA in how to measure the efficiency on a company use in its asset to generate the profit. A higher ROS suggests stronger financial performance and operational efficiency. ROS is widely used across the industry, especially relevant in evaluating profitability alongside other metrics like net profit margin. Previous research show that the board diversity, especially in gender and experience, can positively influence the financial outcome, with ROS frequently used to assess the impact of the board characteristic on the company performance. Of this study, I have two independent variables, which the first one is the board diversity. Board diversity refers to the varieties of the characteristic among the board member that influence the governance effectiveness. This study focused on the gender, age, and tenure diversity, which has been tabled in this slide. Age diversities on the corporate board bring a mixed innovation and experience, which young directors offer fresh digital insight, while the old members provide industry knowledge and stability. However, generation gap may cause communication challenge and slower decision-making in reducing the board effectiveness. The impact of the X diversity varies by the industry and also the organizational structures, culture. The next subset of this board diversity is the gender diversity, which the board is linked to higher employee morale, productivity, retentions, and better decision-making while also boosting the company reputation and financial outcome. However, some study found on no significant relationship between the gender diversity and firm performance or innovation, which is suggesting a mixed result. Last but not least, tenure diversity enhance the board decision making, innovations, and communication by blending new insight with experience, contribution to the firm value, and support the leadership transition. However, excessive tenure diversity might disrupt the team dynamics, with study suggesting that longer individual tenure is more effective or performance than diversity itself. The next IV is the CEO duality, where one person serves as both CEO and chairman of the company, will influence the corporate governance and performance. It may improve the decision-making speed, while may also increase the agency conflict and reduce the board independency. CEO duality can also enable the personal agendas affecting the government strategies impact varies across the context. According to CEO power theory, greater CEO authority can reduce the board independency without duality. Okay. Okay, the moderating variable of this research is family ownership, which is significant influence the global economies. This include the ownership and control management role of the company. While study how positive on the governance and performance, but others report drawback that the agency conflict and irregular dividends show the result. So we will see whether in this research, we will see family ownership whether we will influence the relationship of board diversity and CEO duality on the company performance. So the hypothesis has been developed in that there is a significant relationship between the board diversity and company performance, which followed by the subset of the relationship of age diversity and the company performance. There's a significant relationship between the gender diversity and company performance, and there's a significant relationship between the tenure diversity and company performance. The hypothesis number 2 is CEO duality has a significant influence on the company performance. And hypothesis 3, family ownership moderate the relationship between the board diversity and company performance, which also this include the 3 subset with measure of the 3 different diversities. And last but not least, the 4th one is the family ownership moderate the relationship between the CEO duality and company performance. This is the theoretical framework of my research. Okay, let's move to the research methodology. The research philosophy of this study is to explore the relationship between the board diversity, CEO duality, and company performance, and how the family ownership moderate this relationship in the Malaysia's top hundreds of the public listed company. The research design is using adopt a quantitative research to examine the impact of the board diversity of the 3 subsections: age diversity, gender diversity, and tenure diversity, and the CEO duality on the company performance, which measured by the return on the assets, with family ownership as the moderating variable. Annual reports of the top hundreds published company in Malaysia serve as a primary data sources to support the descriptive explanations and analysis. The populations of this research is targeted at the top 100 of the published company in Busan, Malaysia, which data collects over the 4 years, financial year 2022 to financial year 2023. This is the instrument and measure of my IV and DV and also the moderating variable, which the IV age of diversity will formulated by the average age group of the director. Gender will be percentage of the female director on the board. Tenure diversity will be the duration of time on the boards. The CEO duality is whether there is a non-CEO duality or a there is a CEO duality, while the company performance, as mentioned, measured by the ROA, which has the formula of net income divided by the total asset, and the moderating variable will be measured by the number of family members on the top management of the companies. The data collection methods is used by the reputation sources like Boomerang, Refinery, Econs, Pusat Malaysia, and company website, relying on the accessing data to ensure the credibility and save time and resources. And the data analysis tool that I'm using is the Excel analysis toolpack software, which analysis of the descriptive analysis, normality testing, multiple correlationship, and also the ordinary least square. The empirical model has been built for this research. So let's move on to the finding and analysis. Based on the tables above, this shown that the data show that the mean range from the 0.1887 to the 0.59.14, which has the standard deviation from the 0.09 to 0.9.98. The gender diversity, CEO duality, and family ownership has a lowest variation, indicating the consistency across the firm. In contrast, other variables like RA and tenure diversity showed a wider spread, suggesting that greater difference between the company. On average, both are compositions of the 25.7% of the female directors, while some of the company have more than 50%, which may still lack of the female directors on the boards. Age diversity-wise, director average over around about 59 years old, reflecting a preferable for experienced leadership in the board itself. However, this may limit the fresh perspective. The average board tenure is about the 7 years, with some board balance, shorter and longer servicing director. This makes the effect innovations and stability of the board. CEO duality is represented in 25% of the firm, showing that various practice, while it can speed up the decision makings and reduce the board independency. Family ownership and average has the 18.87%, but range up to 77%, showing a wide gap in the control, which the family control firm with high family control may limit the diversity of adoptions. The return of asset vary greatly, which have a mean of approximately 7.1% and outlier range of negative 34.67 to 84.6%, indicating a significant performance indifferent across the firm.
You have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
2 minutes
Okay.
left.
Let's move on to, I think, just quickly go to the my result of the hypothesis. Actually, there is only two hypotheses has been accepted based on my study, which there is a significant relationship between the age diversity and company performance, and family ownership moderate the relationship, the gender diversity and company performance. So what has been this contribute is age diversity on the board has a positive impact on the company performance, while gender and tenure diversity show no significant effect. CEO duality does not significantly influence the company performance, and family ownership acting as a moderating factor strengthen the relationship between the age diversity and company performance, while the family ownership does not moderate the impact of the gender diversity, tenure diversity, or CEO duality. This insight improves the understanding of how family ownership structures shape the governance effectiveness and firm outcome. The limitation is the sample scope is only limited at the 10 hundredths of Malaysians published company. This may not reflect the governance dynamic in smaller firm. And then the second is shorter time frame, which cover only 4 years, may be insufficient to assess the long-term impact of the governance structure and change. And also the limits of the variable, which I only examine the age, gender, and tenure diversity, and the CEO duality on the family ownership, and also the company performance. So exclude other potential relevant factors like ethical, cultural diversity, industry experience, and educational background on this research. The performance measure which I use for the DV is only the return on asset, which solely indicator of company performance, may not reflect broader value such as innovation, market share, and employee engagement. So the suggestion of my for the further study will be expand the sample scope to have include the small and medium-sized firm, and also stratify the sampling to ensure better representations. The second is the mixed mode approach, which maybe can include the quantitative and qualitative methods to have a deeper insight into the board dynamic. The third is the broaden the governance and performance measure, which include the cultural background, ethnicity, and experience. Beyond ROA, we can use another stock performance, innovations, or ROE inside this research. Extend the study periods, which include a longer study period like 10 years, will be better capture the long-term governance effect to respond about how governance respond to the shifting markets or regulatory conditions over the time. As a conclusion, the study explained only 7.42% of the variation in the company performance, indicate that many influencing factors remain unexplored. Maybe as mentioned previous slide, which further research can consider to additional governance contribute like the industry experience, nationality, ethnicity, and educational background. Also, to include the control variable like board size, company age, and deep level, which may influence the relationship of the board diversity. Include the long-term trends and influence how they influence the market cultures, and it also, last but not least, adopting a mixed mode approach to combine the statistical analysis with quantitative interviews, and also the survey providing a complete understanding of the governance mechanism. That's all for my presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Shinwen. So I'd like to invite Dr. Yazis, if you'd like to have any comment on what Shinwen has presented.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Good morning, Shriwen.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, congratulations again on your presentation and a very good of study. So basically, this study is about on performance. So I just discuss on the variable first thing. So as what as mentioned by Shiwan just now, basically when the study about the performance, they will go into a more comprehensive variables to measure the performance, which is not only ROA, but sometimes the study they also measure ROE. So on a general reason, because of ROA is the accounting performance and ROE is some sort like a market performance. So by doing that, this is more comprehensive to see how the effect of the board diversity towards the market performance and also the accounting performance. And there is also another study also, they add up one more thing. Instead of they are talking about the performance, but they are also discussing about the efficiencies. Okay, so they are discussed on a company efficiency, accounting performance, and also the market performance. So it's become the comprehensive. So what is the important is I would like to highlight between the first presenter, Jimmy and Shuen. So this is a two-method approach. So as a master student, you're doing the research. So this is two different methods between qualitative and the quantitative. So the way how to approach and solve the research problem. So this is one very good what we call that we learn on the actual what has been produced by the qualitative research and what has been produced by the quantitative research. And then other than that is, yes, that is a very good issue in terms of the governance. We study about the board diversity, the family business, and how it affect between the performance. Yes, when we do the study, especially in what we call that Malaysian, Indonesia, or even the Korea, Japan. So they are influenced by the family business. So the what we call that the number of the board is very important, and that's why the family what we call that a moderate variable here, the family director is a very popular study to measure between the performance and also the board diversity. But Malaysian is unique because Malaysian we have a government linked company. So the board is actually the background of the board is appointed by the government because the government is a major shareholder. So, but there is a few study investigate on how this political appointed director CEO affect the performance of the business. So that one may be into the future study. So based on this, Xuan, based on your finding, as you said that just now, there is a mixed finding, right? In the study on about diversity with the performance. Based on your finding, how that your finding basically contribute to explain on the relationship between board diversity and company performance? Xu Yuan?
Okay, yes. Thank you, Prof. Yazin, for the questions. Yes, based on my studies, as mixed up, which I only chosen the board diversity, which is the age, gender, and also the tenure. So based on my study, only the age has the significant impact on the company performance, which show the significant result, and also for the moderating role of the family ownership will be shown as the moderating the relationship between the gender diversity and company performance. So the previous study has mentioned that there's a maybe does the age is really as affect the company performance. So my research result is tally with the previous study result, which is more strengthened that the age diversity has impact on the company performance, and also additionally on top of the gender diversities. The previous study showed that actually the gender is not much the family ownership is not much affect the gender diversity and company performance relationship, but based on my study, which I examined, that the family ownership actually has the moderating relationship between the gender diversity and company performance.
Majority of the study found family ownership affect the performance of the business, and yet many study also found that family ownership produce a better in term of the account or market performance compared to the no ownership. So this is some sort like we can relate with the agency theory, right? The relationship with the management, the board of director, and also with the company. So the family ownership, they really feel that the company is their own of the business and they have that responsibility towards the business. More or less, majority of the study produce a good indicator in terms of the performance, but still it is a mixed finding, and yet that is basically the ultimate result in a quantitative study, which is our result might be same, different with the previous study, but what is important that there, as long as we can give some justification, some rationale, and this is a very important study and contribute for the development of the theory. With that, thank you very much and congratulations again, Xuan. I'll pass back to the Prof. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Yazis, for valuable comments. Mr. Kenneth, anything else you'd like to ask or add?
Yeah, just want to ask Xin Yuan, you have chosen this topic and research objective. From your research, of course, what will you conclude in terms of the difference between especially family-owned structure companies and then non-family-owned structure company? Because you can see that in terms of the Western model, like American, European companies, not Asian, of course, not Asian company, of course, we will see definitely quite a high percentage of family-owned companies, but US, European, style of companies, they rarely have so-called a lot of family-owned companies or a family structure. So in terms of your research, would you be able to say that mm, so-called independent companies, that means free of any family duality or relationship, would be more superior to the family structure companies?
Yes. Basically, for the family owns business, like the structures, right? They actually have more concentrators on their business and also put more efforts on the company performance, and they will based on my result, which is so that the revenues and returns of the family-owned business, which has the majority control, will show that there's a better performance. Maybe they have some sort. They also have the direct interest from the companies itself, so that the company performance will be shown that is more better compared to the low family control companies.
Okay, that's good. I mean, also on that part, when it comes to performance, company performance, I'm not sure whether your research cover because I think you were choosing in your research those public listed company. Yeah? So in terms of your research, whether did you look at the share price, market price of that company as far as those family-owned companies are concerned? Were they actually above the median in terms of the so-called market value?
Um, uh, the limitation of this research maybe didn't include the overview of the share price. Maybe for the further study, it is better to include the share price, so can better overseeing whether the company performance can be reflected in the market shares price for the audience to see actually this company is performing well in their sense of yearly performance.
Yeah, because the reason why I bring up this so-called share price is that from in terms of so-called market analysts, and then of course the investing public, there's always this perception that family-owned companies, in terms of the share price, their share price, tend to be given a little bit of a lower rating than independent companies. That's why you can see that when it comes to family-owned companies, the prices of this company share, maybe except for Genting or maybe some other companies, tend to be a bit dragged down by that so-called family structure. So, when it comes to corporate governance, especially corporate governance, you should also realize that corporate governance also look at what we call reputation, reputational risk and whatnot. So in that sense, I think there's always this so-called drag down factor on the family-owned companies by the market perception, and then by investors as well, and by analysts. Because of that family structure, they tend to think that maybe the so-called board of directors are dominated by family members. Therefore, there's always that so-called relationship between management and board members, and that will hamper the growth of the company and then the earnings potential of this company. So immediately you can see these are some of the unsaid things that you don't get it from what we call the market news or analysis of the companies. But I think your methodology, and then of course your objective of this research about the moderating role of family ownership in the relationship of board diversity and company performance. Certainly, I think from your outcome is a bit of a mixed result that you obtained. You can't really say that having this family ownership and relationship will affect board diversity or as well as company performance. I think you can see from your research. Uh, I'm also interested to know how many actually which were the prominent family-owned companies that you were looking at?
Prominent family ownership companies.
Any particular one? No. Oh, see.
No.
Because I think I mean not sure whether you covered them or not, but some of the prominent family-owned companies like Genting, for example, and then another one quite well known nowadays is Yinsen, and then YTL. Yeah.
Yes.
These are the few companies which are really performing well despite their family structure, isn't it? Oh, so you can't really say that using that few example. I think I will say that you can't say that the family ownership in terms of relationship has so-called affected the board diversity as well as company performance. So certainly I think your research and your presentation so-called support there as well. Yeah, it's a great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kenneth.
Thank you.
For the audience, as I mentioned earlier, if you have any burning questions to the presenter, not just to Shinwen, to Mr. Azmi also, Jimmy, for the first presenter, feel free to write in the chat box. So these two presenters will be able to entertain any question, or if you also like to share some insight, your reflection on things that you encounter in your workplace related to the subject matter, feel free to make the chat box as lively as possible. At the moment, it looks like a graveyard. No one is writing anything. So this is an opportunity to interact with the presenter. Okay, so now we are going to the third presenter, Miss Nur Irmawati Abu Hassan. Let's spotlight her because she she's our third presenter. So let me share her biography first. So Nur Imrawati is a Malaysian civil servant currently serving as Assistant Head of Internal Audit at the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, KPKT. Born in Malim Nawa, Perak, she has a total of 17 years of experience in both external and internal auditing, having served in various organizations, including the National Audit Department, NAD, the School Audit Division, Kuala Lumpur, as well in statutory bodies such as Perbadanan Insurans Deposit Malaysia, PIDM, Kumpulan Wang Persaraan, KWAP, and the Employees Provident Fund, EPF. She is currently serving in the Internal Audit Division at KPKT. Her auditing expertise covers financial audit, performance audit, management audit, and compliance audit. And she recently completed her MBA, Corporate Governance from Putra Business School, and also holds a bachelor degree in accountancy honors from University Technology Mara. So she will be presenting another research-based project paper. And Ms. Irmawati, the screen is yours.
Thank you, bro. Right, just wait for a while. Okay, Prof, can you see my screen?
Yes, can
Okay.
hear you clearly also.
All right, okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. Distinguished keynote speaker Dr. Akbar Maudani, respected panelists Mr. Kenneth Foo Pokins and Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Yaziz Ali Basar, Prof. Dr. Ahmad Azman Abdul Latif, the PBS Director of Coursework Programs and Coordinator Program for MBACG, fellow presenter, MAICSA representative, and all esteemed participants. So it is truly an honor and privilege for me to be one of the presenters at this esteemed colloquium, jointly organized by PBS and MAICSA. So I'd like to begin by thanking the organizing committee for this meaningful opportunity to contribute to today's academic discourse. So today I will share with you my project paper titled The Effect of Risk Management Committees, Attributes on Firm Performance. I hope that this will stimulate meaningful discussions and reflection on how governance structure and risk management can impact the company outcome. So without any further delay, I will start my presentation. Okay. Let's have a look on the first slide, which is in terms of 5 main aspects: the introduction, literature review, research methodology, analysis and finding, and last but not least, the discussion, implication, and conclusions. Okay, the first one is the introduction part. Okay, background of the study. As we all know, good corporate governance is vital for company as it enhances their reputation and reduce risk, boosting shareholders' confidence. It also established effective mechanisms like board oversights and internal control to ensure decisions align with company goals. Strong governance improves processes, prevent fraud, and enhance compliance with regulations. It also helps companies to adapt to external challenges. Overall, good governance fosters transparency, integrity, and efficiency, crucial for long-term success. Okay. Firm performance closely ties to the effectiveness of the RMC, which plays a critical role in identifying, assessing, and managing risks that may impact the company's financial stability and long-term growth. Well-functioning RMC can improve a firm performance by helping to minimize risk and support better decision-making. Independent and well-defined RMC positively influence company performance by reducing financial risk and ensure compliance. Effective RMC helps guide firm strategy, leading to better risk-adjusted returns and greater stability. Globally, research indicates the present and specific characteristics of RMC can significantly impact the firm performance. A study was done on UK firms found that having a dedicated risk committee at the board level strengthens the ERMs, leading to more informed decision-making and improved financial outcome. However, the evidence is not universally consistent. In Malaysia, RMC have gained increased importance following the recommendations set in MCCG 2021, which highlight the needs for strong risk oversights and internal control mechanism in CG. However, study examining the effect of RMC on Malaysian firms have produced mixed results. The study was done in Malaysian financial firms from 2009 to 2006, found that no significant relationship between the presence of an RMC and ROE, and Tobin skill. This suggests that simply establishing an RMC does not necessarily lead to improved financial outcome. In addition, there's also a study on Malaysian financial companies from 2007 to 2011 found that RMCs with the majority of independent directors positively impacted market valuation but negatively affected accounting-based returns. This underscores the complex and nuanced relationship between RMC characteristics and firm performance. Updated MCCG 2021 has been instrumental in improving CG practices. It reflects globally accepted standard that exceeds minimum legal requirements. The 2021 revision enhanced board policy and processes, focusing on selections of directors, nomination and appointments. It also emphasized stronger board oversights and the integrations of sustainability into company strategy. The MCCG also encouraged adopting best practices, especially among companies identified with lower compliance level in the Security Commission CG monitor reports. Okay, now I will present the problem statements. There is form and aspect problem statement. Form and aspect and problem statements. The first one is a previous study has been conducted based on the subject matters, but normally integrated within risk governance only focus few attributes and producing mixed results. The second one, firms will have strong governance frameworks, particularly effective RMC that ensure robust risk oversight and contribute to improved firm performance. This committee will be composed of independent directors, which with clearly defined roles and responsibility, meeting regularly and engaging in meaningful discussion. A well-structured RMC will lead to effective risk management, stronger alignment between management and shareholders, interest, and ultimately enhance financial performance and sustainability goals. However, many firms face significant challenges in achieving such optimal governance practices. Research over the past few years has highlighted various issues, including the lack of independence in RMCs, the overlaps of RMC members, the lacks of independence in RMC, the overlaps of RMC members with other board subcommittees, and insufficient frequency or effectiveness of meetings. This structural and functional shortcoming limits the ability of RMC to enhance CG and improve the firm performance. If these issues are not addressed, firms may face significant consequences, including poor risk oversight, misaligned management strategy, and missed opportunity for improved financial performance. Inadequate risk management can lead to financial instability, declining investor confidence, and potentially lower the stock prices. Okay, let's move to the research questions. So there are 5 research questions that have been developed. The first one, does existence of separate RMC has an effect on firm performance? Does presence of independent director in RMC has an effect on firm performance? Does overlappings of RMC members on board subcommittees has an effect on firm performance? Does size of RMC has an effect on firm performance? And the last one, does RMC diligence meeting has an effect on firm performance? Next is the research objective, to examine whether the effects of the existence of separate RMC on firm performance, to examine the effects of presence of independent directors in RMC members on firm performance, to investigate the effects of overlappings of RMC members on board subcommittees on firm performance, to assess the effects of size of RMC on firm performance, and the last one, to assess the effects of RMC diligence meeting on firm performance. Okay, scope of this the study actually, I focus on the top 74 PLC in Malaysia, which amounting to 222 PLC being analyzed. The period cover for 3 years from 2021 to 2023. Justification for selections is due to diverse industry representation due to prior research mainly focused on specific industry such as consumer goods, non-financial sector, as well as telecommunications and media. In terms of data collections, I use secondary data, whereby the main documents being reviewed is the annual reports of PLC, the financial statements, and also statements of corporate companies. Okay, in terms of theoretical perspective and agency theory, agency theory explains conflict between management and shareholders due to self-servicing behavior. An effective RMC can reduce these conflicts by providing independent oversights, ensuring transparency and accountability, aligning management interests with shareholders. RMC acts as a key governance mechanism to lower agency costs and improve firm performance. And research shows RMC characteristics, for example, like independence, expertise, positively influence risk control and financial outcomes. Significance of the studies. This study aligned with MCCG 2021, which shows how RMC are applied within corporate governance framework in Malaysia. In terms of regulatory support, it highlights role of SC Bursa Malaysia, MAICSA, and MAICSA in using finding to enhance risk governance policy. It also improve risk oversights, encourage best practices to reduce financial and operational risk and strengthen governance. The study also support auditing, which assists auditor, including the National Audit Department, in integrating RMC elements into corporate governance audits. It fill research gaps, focus on RMCs and areas that less explored in past CG studies, providing insight into their effects on firm performance. And for global relevance, contribute to international CG discussion, especially in emerging markets, by showing RMCs improve accountability, investor trust, as well as sustainability. And last one, support agency theory, which confirm that effective RMC reduce conflict between manager and shareholders through transparency, oversights, and aligned interests. Second, literature review. Okay. Firm performance is a key focus for companies aiming to sustain long-term corporate success. However, higher firm performance is often linked to a higher level of risk, which necessitates effective risk management to maintain organizational performance and enhance investor relations. Financial performance is crucial for a company's long-term success and has garnered significant scholarly attention. It reflects the effectiveness of a firm strategy and operations. Performance is typically assessed through 3 key areas, includes financial outcomes, market outcomes, as well as shareholders' returns. RMC is a board subcommittee tasked with overseeing risk management practices within an organization to mitigate risk effects. Integrated into corporate governance structures, this system aims to enhance shareholders' value and business performance. Okay, this is the independent variables, dependent variable, and also the control variables. Like I mentioned before, there is 5 independent variables: existence of separate RMC, presence of independent directors in RMC, overlappings of RMC members on board subcommittees, size of RMC, and RMC diligence meeting. For dependent variables, is involved two dependent variables, which is return on asset and also return on equity. And for control variables, I'm using firm size, which is the total asset of the PLC. So like I mentioned before, the underpinning theories that have been used is agency theories, which relates with relationship between principal, the shareholders, and agents. It highlights the conflict of interest that may arise when agents act in their own interest instead of the principal. This theory suggests ways to align interests, reduce agency costs, and improve firm performance. This theory also widely applied in areas such as corporate governance, executive compensations, ownership structure, financial reporting, risk management, mergers and acquisitions, CSR, and capital structure. The key idea is agents should act in the best interest of the principal. Okay, next is the research framework. As you can see here, this is the research frameworks. The relationship between dependent variables, control variable, and also independent variables. And in terms of the hypothesis developments, as you can see here, H1, existence of separate RMC has a positive effect on the firm performance. H2, presence of independent directors and RMC members has a positive effect on the firm performance. H3, overlappings of RMC members on board subcommittees has a positive effect on the firm performance. H4, size of RMC has a positive effect on the firm performance. And the last one, H5, RMC delegation meeting has a positive effect on the firm performance. Okay, research methodology. The first one is the research philosophy. So I'm using positivist approach, whereby the actual data planning used to deduce the assumption made. In terms of the research designs, I'm using quantitative longitudinals and also panel data studies. In terms of the variable of the study and measurements, I'm using DV, IV, and also CD. So next presentation or next slides refer to the variable of the studies. Okay. As you can see here, this is the variables and also the measurements that I've been used. For example, return on assets. As we all know, the formula is profit after tax and divided by the total asset. Same goes with our ROE, which is we are using net profit after tax by divided with the shareholder equities. And existence of separates RMC, I'm using, if they say ones, it represents compliance, while zeros, non-compliance. Independence director in RMC, I'm using percentage in terms of number of independent directors in RMC relative to the total number of RMC members. Overlapping or RMC members on board subcommittee, the numbers of overlapping RMC members on board subcommittees relative to the total number of RMC members. The size of RMCs, the numbers of members in RMCs. RMC delegation meetings is represent the number of RMC delegation meeting held for the years. And in terms of the firm size, it's referred to the log of the total asset. Data source and data samples. In terms of the populations, a total of 222 public listed companies on the examinations from 2003 and 2001, until 2023, which collected from the Bursa Malaysia websites. Model estimation, I'm using two for measurement, which is ROA and ROE. In terms of the panel data analysis, I'm using pool or ordinary least square, OLS. Okay. Analysis and findings. The first one is in terms of demographic profile. For my studies, there is three types of demographic profiles that I use for analysis. The first one is relate with the industry background. Okay, as you can see, based on this table, it shows that technology and semiconductors, industrial and manufacturing, financial services, oil and gas, energy and plantation, as well as agriculture industry dominate the data sets, highlighting their significant presence in the markets. While other industries such as real estate, REITs, telecommunication and media, conglomerates and construction and infrastructure contribute to a smaller but yet notable portion of the industry distribution. These findings suggest a strong representation of technologies on semiconductors and industrial and manufacturing industry reflecting their critical roles in the economic landscapes. The second one, the demographic information and total assets. So based on the analysis, the largest proportions of 43.24% of the company hold total asset between more than 1,000 million to 10,000 million, followed by 39.19% of company with a total asset more than 10,000 million to 100 million range. A smaller proportion, 9.46% of the company owns total asset exceeding RM 100,000 million up to 1.1 thousand million, while 8.11% of company have total asset between 100 million to 1,000 million. Majority
You
of the
have
company
you,
post.
you have 5 minutes left. Maybe we can go to
Okay.
the result.
Okay, so next demographic relates with external auditor. Strong dominance by the big five audit firms. Okay, in terms of the mean analysis, as overall the mean score range from 0.0575 for RA to high of 22.9640 for the firm size. Okay, normality test based on the analysis, it shows that the data fall under normality range. Same goes with multicollinearities. For correlation analysis, DV RA has a positive correlation with presence of independent directors in RMC. Contrary, RA has a negative correlation with existence of separate RMC, overlapping of RMC and boards of committees, RMC delegate meeting, size of RMC, and speedy. So I think I just move to the result. So based on the analysis, it shows that only two hypotheses accepted here for ROA. There is significant relationship between existence of separate RMC and firm performance, and there is a significant relationship between presence of independent directors in RMC and firm performance. While for ROE, none of the hypotheses being accepted, all the hypotheses being rejected. So discussion, implication, and conclusions. Okay, I just proceed to the conclusions. Okay, based on the study, is underscore the vital roles that specific RMC attributes play in enhancing the firm performance, and highlight the importance for companies to carefully integrate this element into their CG strategy. This study makes a valuable contribution to the CG literature by providing empirical evidence on how RMC attributes impact the firm performance. They also underscore the importance of maintaining an effective and well-organized RMC to enhance financial outcome. Specifically, this finding revealed that having a separate RMC and appointing independent directors play a critical role in boosting financial performance, particularly as measured by RA. These practices foster enhanced decision-making, stronger risk management, and improved transparency, which collectively build investor trust. Furthermore, firms adopting this strategy are better equipped to navigate challenges, ensuring sustained long-term growth and stability. As an overall, the research offers actionable insight for companies aiming to optimize their RMC effectiveness and achieve a competitive advantage in a rapidly evolving market. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Irma. So,
Welcome,
would like
Paul.
to go first, Mr. Kenneth or Dr. Aziz? Mr. Kenneth, eh?
Yes, Noah Imawati. Thank you so much for your.
Yes, Mr. Kenneth.
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much for your
Mm.
presentation. This shows that
Okay.
when it comes to risk management, anyway, before I begin, of course, it's really great to get two presentation on risk management. One was from Jimmy, which was on a particular case study. Yours is on what we call research method, on the significance of risk management, especially the risk management committee. So it shows that
Yes.
it shows that what I call it, implementing and practicing good governance do contribute to the company performance, as well as the market perception, leading to, of course, a so-called premium on their share price as well. And one thing from your research, you covered more than 200 world companies, and then
Yes.
concentrating on 70 over top companies. Were there any company which really give you a very good so-called conclusion about the role of the RMC? Any particular company in mind?
I think based on the analysis, Mr. Kenneth, due to, as I presented before, the selections of the sample involve diverse industry. So as an overall, you can say that based on the top majority top 74 industries, I mean like they are practicing good I mean like RMC practices
I see.
overall.
So that mean you did not have any so-called uh, so-called targeted company in mind.
I think one of the industry I can share is maybe banking industry. And maybe
Okay.
due to that, banking industry, I can see that when it comes to banking industry, in terms of let's say in terms of the numbers of meeting that bank held is up to 15 per year, maybe. In terms of the size also, the size of RMC members, I can say that it means that they're in the range that high numbers compared to other industries when it comes to
see.
RMCs. Yeah.
I see. But I can see from your scope of study that you did not cover you did not cover financial sector. I think you were covering just consumer goods, non-financial sector, and
Oh, no,
telecommunication
Mr.
and
Kenneth.
media.
No, actually, that point I want to highlight based on the previous study, they are focused on the
Okay.
selected. So
I
I'm
see, I
not
see.
focused on the selected. So it consists
Yeah.
of diverse industries.
I see, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely, I think I would say that for the banking industry, or rather what we call financial sector, definitely, I think there's a very central role in that sense of RMCs because of Bank Negara. You know, but
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, Mr.
really,
Right.
I
Yeah,
think
I agree with you.
Bank
I
Negara
agree
is
with you.
really Bank Negara is really a very strong institution, and it is doing a good job compared to all other central bank organization in the whole world, especially I think. And of course,
Yeah.
this one really was due to the foundation laid down in the past by one I think there was a person called Tun Ismail Ali, I think. He was the one who laid down the foundation for what Bank Negara is today also. But okay, now the other thing is that when you covered this public listed company and the RMC role, in terms of the so-called diligence of meetings, from what your study covered, what were the number of meetings actually they hold?
For RMC diligence, or in other words, is present the numbers of
Mm-hmm.
meeting that bank have for a year, based on the analysis done for total 222 public listed company. I can see that the range is between as low as 1 to 15 meeting held per year.
Wow.
There are some PLC companies that only I'm not sure whether they are not really take seriously on the rules of RMC. There's a PLC companies that only have a meeting only once for a particular year. Yeah, so there is a huge gap from 1 to 15.
So that's why that's why I always have been commenting also on this part. When it comes to the annual report of all this public discovery in terms of governance statement, and then of course whatever that is so-called number of meeting held by various board committee. One thing they don't offer us is what you call it. I mean, building on your research method about diligence. Of course you only get the number of meeting, but now even though I may have one meeting, but that one meeting we talk about 2 hour, 3 hour, certainly give you an so-called perception that at least if the meeting is lasting for at least 2 or 3 hours just on RMC alone, it certainly so-called shows that there is a proper due diligence, or what you call at least some diligence in terms of what they discussed or what they went through. But if I say I got 50 meetings, but each meeting only lasts about 10 to 15 minutes, then there's actually in terms of number look nice, but do you think it's effective? Don't think so, is it? Oh?
I think Mr. Kenneth, it's depend on what type of industry actually. Like you said lah. If they say if like banking industry, it shows that we should have the regular MC needs to we need to look on the type of risk that being exposed to that particular company. We need to have a regular MC. But as compared to media industry that like not like kind of lease in terms of to look on the risk aspect, maybe can be done less than 5 MC per year, which is even though that the numbers is quite low, but as long you are do the meetings in effective and efficient manner, it should be okay for me. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So I think overall, I think I can see from your presentation that you spend a lot of time on this research and certainly sacrifice a lot of your family time as well. Completing this, selecting a list of 200 world company and then going through their reports
Yeah.
and coming up with this so-called
Yeah.
study is really something that very, very good and shows that you have been very
Yeah.
diligent as well. So
Yeah,
congratulations for
yeah,
that
Mr. Cadet.
well
Thank
presentation.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Kenneth.
Okay.
Dr. Yazis.
Thank you, Prof. Again, Puan Nur Imawati, Tahniah.
Yes, Prof.
Congratulations
Terima
on
kasih,
the
Prof.
presentation, on the success of your study.
Mm.
The first thing, basically, how many attribute of the risk management? 5, right?
Yeah.
Irma?
Yes,
You,
Prof. 5
you have
attributes.
these 5, but basically,
Yes.
can you explain further on how you measure on number 1, number 2, and number 3?
Number 1,
Number
number
2,
2, and number 3. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe I can refer back to this slide.
Okay, thank you.
Read for a while, Prof. Okay. Existence of separate RMC. In terms of analysis that I've been done, I've measured if let's say the PLC whether I mean like if let's say there is existence of separate MC, I will indicate as 0. If let's say they are not maintained, I mean like there's some of
You're using
PLC.
dummy, right?
Yeah, there's some
Okay.
of the PLC, Prof, that they are still combining the functions of RMC and also with other subcommittee. For example, some of PLC, they are, I mean, like they arrange RMC together with the audit committee meetings. There are some of PLC. When it comes to the presence of independent directors in RMC, I'm using percentage, Prof. So it means that based on the overall directors in RMC, I would measure how many percent that refer independence as compared to the total numbers of the directors in RMC. The same goes with the overlapping RMC members on the boards of meeting. I am also using a percentage in terms of how many RMC members that I mean like having overlappings on other boards of committees in terms of the percentage, Prof.
Okay, in
Yeah.
terms of your percentage, how do you calculate that?
For example, if let's say there is 10 numbers of RMCs and 5 of the members is independent, so it represents 50%.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very
Right.
kind of straightforward. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I agree with the Mr. Kenneth just now regarding on the lead diligence, right?
Yeah.
Only solely based on number of meeting.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
Prof. Yes.
Right. Okay. But it's not the some sort like the content and
No,
also
no, Prof.
not also the report
No.
produced in
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But basically, above all, for me, this study is more or less similar with the second one.
Yeah.
So quantitative in nature, and
Yeah.
basically is to prove the profit maximization objective of the company. So that is the reason basically why the company exists, is for shareholder wealth maximization. So in order to do this, there must be something return to the company and also to the owner of the company, the shareholder. So that's why many study they try to prove that even they have RMC, for example, that RMC bring a better profit compare than the company that not very good or well established in terms of the RMC. So that even with the RMC, it still finally contribute to the profit well maximization on the basis objective of the why the company or organization exists. So that is number one. So because I'm very interesting because you're using two, right? ROA and ROE.
Yes, Prof. Yes.
How the similarity and differences on your finding between
In
these two
what aspect, Prof? Can you, I mean, like
to
further
support the relationship between independent variables?
like I present from previous slides, okay, I'm using the same independent variables and dependent variables. Independent variables, the 5 independent variable. When it comes to dependent variables, split with return on asset, return on equity. Like Mr. Kenneth mentioned, and you also mentioned before, ROA only measure in terms of like the firm performance. So I was thinking to use another firm's performance measurement, use the return on equity. But based on the conclusions, conclusion from this study, it shows that all these independent variables, um, like there's no, like the hypothesis being rejected as compared to using ROA, which is the firm measurements that we are like normally use. It indicates that the existence of separate MNC and also the presence of independent directors in MNC is positively contribute to return on asset of the PLC.
That is very interesting to further dig on the issue, some sort like represent or explaining that there is no market reaction, right? In terms of the
Yeah.
sensitivity of the
Yeah,
investor,
yeah.
sensitivity of the
Yes, correct.
stakeholder, some sort like they don't recognize, they don't care enough on the existence of the RMC. Very interesting finding. And how do you
Yes.
compare this result with the other country, for example? Have you compared?
Yeah, like the first early slide that I mentioned, I do compare globally and also in Malaysia. In globally, in the first slide, let's say I show here.
If we say that this finding is a Malaysian case, our case is similar with the what has happened.
Okay. So generally, Prof, I can say that okay. For example, as you can see in this slide, I did mention a study in UK found that having dedicated MC at the board levels can leading to more informed decision can improve financial outcome. But however, Prof, this evidence is not universally consistent. This is based on the UK firms, and as compared to like Malaysia companies in PLC in Malaysia, it also highlight that the relationship between RMC and ROE, ROE and Tobin skew does suggest that simply estimating RMC does not necessarily lead to improved financial outcomes. Have kind of similarity here, but overall, I can say that based on the 5 variables, it can shows that 2 of these main independent variables it can have the positive correlation with the full performance of, which is the existence of separate MCs and also the presence of independent directors, whereby all the PLCs, company emission, and non-PLC company need to focus on these 2 main aspects.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. That's
Thank you,
all.
Prof.
Congratulations again.
Thank you, Prof.
And then I
Thank
return back
you.
to Prof.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Aziz. Okay, thank you, Naima, for a very nice
Thank you, Prof.
presentation. Okay, and again, to the audience, if you have any question to the first presenter, to the second presenter, to the third presenter, feel free to write in the chat box. Then they will be able to entertain any of your question. So last but not least, okay, we are going to have our fourth presenter, Mr. Wan Ahmad Iskandar, Wan Adnan. Okay, let me spotlight him. Okay, turun sikit kamera tu. Apa? Macam tu. So let me introduce him by reading his bio. Wan Ahmad Iskandar bin Wan Adnan is a professional footballer for Putra Business School FC in her leisure capacity, but officially is a Malaysian civil servant currently serving as a principal assistant director of strategic planning at the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, MITI. Born in Petaling Jaya, Selangor, he has over 18 years of experience in public administration. His career experience includes key roles in formulating trade and industry policies, as well as serving overseas at the High Commission of Malaysia in New Delhi. He has recently completed his master degree education in MBA Corporate Governance from Putra Business School and holds a bachelor degree in Mechanical Engineering from the University of Michigan and Ann Arbor. Mr. Wan Ahmad Iskandar will be presenting a case study with the paper, and the screen is yours.
Thank you, Prof. Rasman, Dato' Akbar, and esteemed panelists. Let me share my screen first. I think so. This one screen too. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes, we can see your screen
The
and
slide.
hear clearly.
Okay, I'll start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I'll be sharing about this race intercontroversies and unethical conducts in Adabi consumer industry Berhad. I will call it short in Adabi. So in terms of the presentation outline, I'll cover four topics. This will guide us on the context and diagnosis to action. Next slide is the company overview. I'll start with company overview to be context about the Adabi. Adabi is actually founded in 1984 by Datuk Syed Mansur Syed Mahmud. Adabi started with curry paste in Batu Cave, and now it has moved its facility in Rawang. It also diversified its product, not just to limited to our traditional food products, but also to snacks and also pet food. It has over 2,000 employees and is currently serving domestic and as well as selected export markets. The Adabi is generally a family business by Dato' Syed Mansur. The founder is actually the shareholders are mainly 97.55% is owned by the founder and his wife, and the rest is by his 4 children. So in terms of his reporting line, he has the board actually mirrors the reporting line, whereby actually the board also consists of the children, the CEO, and his family members, and their responsibility is to cover strategy, financial reviews, and I think the typical board responsibilities, and they meet monthly with no subcommittees. In terms of Adivi's vision is to produce halal and high quality food that promotes health and happiness globally. Its mission focus on supporting Malaysian home chefs with convenient and value-added ingredients. Key objective include strengthening domestic leadership, expanding in ASEAN, and improving manufacturing and efficiency and governance. In terms of business performance, I think they did pretty well, especially during COVID time, because their revenue peaked at 560 million in 2021. This I think because of the COVID and everyone had to stay at home, so they actually managed to capitalize on this opportunity. This is also reflected with their profit. So what happened is that right now Adabi has actually reached a certain level of profit that they had never and revenue that they never achieved. So they have to they want to continue the momentum. However, Adabi actually competes in a very competitive landscape against established brands like Maggi, Nestle, Baba, Lee Kum Kee, Heinz, all in the food industry. And so now they are coming into the snack and pet food like Mummy, Frisky, Smart Hut, Whiskas. So this is a quite crowded field, but demand continuous product innovation and brand differentiation. In terms of industry challenge, key trends include a shift towards protein-rich and plant-based diet, rising demand for transparency and ethical sourcing, growth in ready-to-eat and functional foods, food safety and supply chain sustainability are also central challenge for Malaysian manufacturers. This we got it from the from MITI National Industry Master Plan 2030 for the key challenge for industry. So I'll begin with the key events. So we will examine 4 key events in Adabi that expose governance weakness from certificate falsification, waste management, wrongful dismissal, and supply chain disruption. Each reveals gaps in oversight and controls and ethic cultures. Okay, for the first event, I think the CEO, Syed Mahathir, the son of the founder, was caught in surprise when his father, the chairman, actually reported as an event in 2022 post-COVID that a falsification of the HAS cert is actually a cert needed for Adabi to actually export its product to Thailand. So the misconduct was actually driven by pressure to comply with Thailand's stricter border control post COVID-19. So what happened is that the chairman, there was this export to Thailand was carried out by a special team led by the chairman, and the CEO, his son was not aware of this, but he was aware, but he wasn't got any report. But when it comes to the issue, he had to solve it because it was a instruction from the chairman. So what happened is that the breakdown in oversight and accountability allowed the falsification with excessive dependence on external parties and consultation. So previously, what happened was that they managed to falsify the cert because the type order control was a bit lax, so it was remained until detected. But post COVID, the Thai authorities wanted a renewed certification, and then that's how the fraud uncovered. So and they couldn't renew the certification. This led to halt of their shipment to Thailand and affecting the export operation. The risk included damage to the company reputation, operational disruption, and potential financial costs from upgrading plant to meet the hazard requirement. So they are afraid that they will lose market share due to delays and disruption of the product supply. So next, but throughout Adabi's journey, before 2022, there's already a series of events that's happening that also lead to like weakness in governance. So there's also a case of weakness in terms of improper. There's a case of improper waste management. Adabi was suspected of river pollution despite possessing a water treatment facility, not plant. Sorry. This there was reporters and Indah Water official wanted to investigate the matter and wanted to enter the premise of Adabi without warrant. However, Adabi didn't realize that they are that caused the issue because they had a water treatment supply. But after a meeting with the Indah Water CEO, it was revealed that the allegation was linked to an antibiotic from a food material called kunyit. So kunyit was found in the river and causing for odor. So CEO of Adabi, Syed Mahzir was apprehensive and the court for the investigation, and they found out that yes, they actually uncovered that it was the employee negligence that actually polluted the river. So this also could have a big implication to Adabi. They could face fines, reputational damage, but this is something that they also want to resolve. Third is the event on the improper staff demission. When the CEO was away, a complaint about insubordination case was brought to him, but he instructed his HR manager to investigate. And during the meeting, a confrontation between the manager and the staff happened. And because the staff was unhappy with the manager, he posted something negative about comments about the HR manager. And reacting to this, the HR manager dismissed the staff immediately and causing unrest, causing dissatisfaction among employees because the dismissal was felt unfair and arbitrary. Upon learning, Syed Mahzir was approached by employees concerns about the company's culture turning toxic due to this incident. However, Syed Mahzir was shocked because it was only the CEO who has the authority to dismiss staff, but the HR manager dismissed the employees without proper approval, claiming false authorization from the president. So the president denied granting such authority, leading to threats to litigation from both from the HR manager and from the dismissed staff for compensation. The fourth event is also a supply chain. It's a supply chain decision post-COVID. Although during COVID, Adabi had performed very well, but post-COVID they have experienced some impact because of supply chain have become prominent, and this is also intensified by climate change and geopolitical tensions around the world. And their key raw materials like onions, flour, and chickens are affected, and also this could actually threaten their production. As such, they have to manage this, and because of lack of this separation, it raises risk of quality decline, higher prices, and potential halt in production. So the company have to figure out how to manage these obstacles to maintain operation and satisfy client demands. So based on these four events, we can identify that there are two main issues: weakness in governance in this oversight. I think this is agreed by the CEO. And also another issue, I think the three of the issues led to unethical conduct by the company employees. So this is based on this thing. We can summarize that these issues are two issues: governance and risk, as well as the unethical conduct. So how do we resolve this? I think because it's pertaining to risk, Adabi doesn't have like a waste management framework. So we are proposing a COSO ERM framework. I think this is already explained by Jimmy. We want to implement ERM framework, which offer a structured approach for Adabi how to manage the risk according to their organizational goals, which I mentioned earlier, what their strategic objective. So there are five pillars and with 20 points in it for us to see. But for the analysis, I will just show the highlights. In terms of second framework, I think because there are four separate events happening, so we will use the internal control framework to look into the weakness of the internal control that led to the incident to happen. So we use for COSO internal control to address the events issue. And third is because two of the COSO interval is more on the systematic of the company, but we also use this fraud diamond model, which has elements of capability, pressure, and rationalization and opportunity to understand the human factors behind why this unethical conduct was happened. In terms of analysis in the IRM, we align this with the strategic objective of the company and managed to identify around 13 risks. And we also to assess this risk, the 13 risks, we have two parameters we developed using the COSO IRM framework. Is the likelihood parameter as well as the impact parameter. Okay, after having established this parameter, we will map this against the likelihood and impact through gross rating and residual rating. I think the gross risk assessment will evaluate risk based on no mitigation in place, and the residual risk will evaluate risk based on the proposed improved mitigation in place. The sample of the mapping, I think you can see it. So there's based on the mapping we done, we found that there's 5 high key risks for Adabi to manage, which need more urgent priority as compared to 8 medium and no low. So this is how we actually assess and risk the manage. But to manage the risk, we also facilitate Adabi with all the 13 risks to develop a risk register. The risk register is a central repository to identify risk, their impact, and mitigation strategies. So we can put this as a document for the Adabi to actually manage their risk in a more centralized, coordinated manner, so that those incidents will not happen or other risks to happen. So in terms of not just to complement the risk register, we also propose for KRI. KRI is actually like a trigger to monitor status of risk or risk before it happens. So we identified some of the key indicators of what Adabi needs to do for each of the risks before the risk happens, so that they can know that whether they are in trouble and they managed to resolve the issue even before the risk happened. So that is the ERM, which is looking at the managing the risk for the company for holistically and comprehensively. And now for the event that happened, we use the internal control analysis from COSO. So for the first event, we found that the tie for the control event, the failure is actually because the tie exploited or reported only to the semi-retired chairman, bypassing the management oversight. The risk underestimated the reputational and operational impact of falsification. So because there's no check and balance, because the reporting is only to the semi-retired chairman, so a lot of trust was given to the team to do the project, but they unfortunately that the lack of control actually caused them to falsify the certificate. And in terms of the key controls, we identified some of the risks that could happen and what the key controls that could be done for event 1. We should include dual approval flow for export certificate, routine cross checks, and a compliance team, meaning there's a compliance team to check whether they are doing what they're doing is correct, or not just to depend on their consultant or their partner saying that everything is okay in terms of certification. So improved communication protocols and regular monitoring is also something that would also needed if they want to surface red flags early lah. So in terms of event 2, improper waste management, we found that the failure in the internal control for the control environment is that the managers accepted or operator explanation without verification, meaning when they said that they already disposed the waste properly, they didn't, the managers just accept. Risk management overlooked the environmental liabilities and legal consequences of pollution. So there's a lot of pollution because of this action. What the internal control propose that we recommend real-time waste management monitoring, a whistleblower platform, so that if people know, because actually on the ground they know there is something wrong is happening, that there should be a whistleblower platform to actually inform, and also a scheduled internal audit, clear reporting lines, and remediation planning with regulators will also restore compliance. Meaning they also need to have engagement with Indah Water, admit their fault, or try to mitigate this issue so that this issue will not go to public. Third is on the improper staff dismissal. I think in terms of control environment, the HR manager actually acted beyond authority in dismissing the staff. Risk assessment, missed human resource, and legal exposure from policy breach. I think this has, because the HR manager has acted beyond his authority, he's actually breached the rule set in Adabi. So this actually caused them to be exposed to legal exposure from the staff being dismissed. So what can the Adabi do actually is strengthen the HR policy with the explicit dismissal control, provide alternative grievance channel, not just to HR, meaning if they have issue with HR, they have need to have an alternative channel where they can channel their issue problem, and also have manager training. So manager training needs to also evolve in terms of dispute settlement between their employees, so that the incident like lashing out in public in social media will not happen. Monitor adherence to HR audits and also staff sentiment survey. These are some of the control recommended. In terms of the supply chain disruption, we see that there's no supply chain risk committee or no risk management committee in Adabi, because they operate with no risk committee and no diversification strategy. Risk assessment did not account for geopolitical black swan events and also material sourcing activities, like geopolitical black swan, like even like for example climate change, bencana, and as well as like those things like even war. So that these kind of things could actually affect their supply chain. Okay. In terms of the analysis on fraud model, we look into the capability and of the falsification of regulatory certificate, and then why they actually do for pressure that they had to meet urgent export target. That's why post-COVID, that's why they probably did the falsification. Opportunity is to report split because the reporting split between the chairman, and no verification. This has also led to opportunity for them to commit fraud. And rationalize these shortcuts actually, because they want to they might want to please the chairman, or this shortcut ensures business continuity. And in terms of the capability, they are technical team expert with expertise on the hazard process. In terms of second event in improper waste management, lack of real-time waste disposal and monitoring enable some staff to bypass the environmental rules driven by target pressures and related incentive. I think for this case, it happened during the COVID time. Their production was really ramped up. So what they did was because due to meeting the plant the target set of production, some of them decided to just dump the waste improperly into the river. But this is one of the issue that caused the unethical conduct. Thirdly, in terms of improper dismissal of staff, the risk may arise from unclear staff dismissal policy. Maybe the staff policy on dismissal wasn't communicated clearly in the company. And then in the CEO's absence, a dismissal protocol is also needed. There's a lacking of dismissal protocol when whose authority is going to be when the CEO is absent. And the dismissal already lack grievance outlet may resort to social media. Maybe because the employee lack outlet to actually complain or about the HR. So that's why she went to the social media. Okay, proposed solution. I think in terms of proposition, we did two type. I proposed two type of general commission. One is to look into the whole overall risk management for the company. Which at first, number one is to establish subcommittees within the company to improve governance and oversight. Right now, all meetings are attended by the board members. only once a month, and they don't focus on the risk management, and they lump everything, and maybe this actually cause like things that maybe unreported, or cause the management to have risk oversight on certain issues. Secondly, it was to strengthen reporting line. I think a lot of the issues here, I think there's a lot of communication issues, like split reporting between the chairman and the CEOs. I think this matter need to be streamlined, and they need to put in procedures as well. Third is to improve the board independence and diversity to the appointment of independent directors. I think because it's being a family business, some of them maybe lack the expertise and knowledge on risk management and governance. So the importance of improving the diversity and appointment of independent directors could actually help the governance issue in Adabi. And fourth, to adopt the risk management ERM. I think this is to enhance risk management across the organization. Fifth, also to implement a review of their internal controls. I think there's also weakness in the internal control based on analysis we mentioned, which could embed more clear procedures, regular audits, as well as segregation of duties to ensure that there is check and balance. Sixth is to reinforce the ethical culture through training and whistleblower platform and core values. In terms of the events, we also provide the specific agenda for the events. I think based on the analysis that we done, there's a need to review the regulatory requirement, whether they are regulatory compliance, I think, for all market, not just for Thailand, so that they know that that they are complying and they are not subjected to those risks. And in terms of halting or to meet the compliance of the hazard, I think Adabi could explore contract manufacturing for companies that actually already comply with the hazard requirement, instead of they actually upgrade the equipment, because it's quite costly and slow and hot production. And they need to have a dedicated team monitoring compliance, not just relying on consultants or partners over there to tell what are the requirements. And this was one of the reasons why they too much reliance on the partner and consultant, that such falsification could happen. And they also need to put in a strict disciplinary action on the staff, because this also should set an example that the company does not tolerate unethical conduct in the company. Second is the event two on the improper waste management. The improper waste management need real-time monitoring, actually, especially in whether through system or through using a different segregation of duty, like whoever disposes the waste need to be counter checked by somebody who needs to verify that the waste has been disposed. Whistleblowing platform, there's need to have a whistleblowing platform, so that, because earlier in this in the water case, waste management, some of the staff actually are aware of that, but none of them are actually dare to report, maybe afraid of consequences, or try to cover up for their colleagues. Maybe refresher trainings on ethics and risk management is also important. Negotiate with Indawater so that so that this issue will not come up publicly and damage their reputation, but as well as negotiate with them to actually clean up the river, as well as do training with Indawater, so that they show that they are serious in terms of complying with the environmental procedures. Third is the inventory is improper dismissal of staff. We need to review Adabi need to review communication on HR policy, because a lot of people not aware that that only the CEO has the authority to establish another alternative feedback channel, so that if there are complaints and losses, not only that they can complain to the HR, but they also can have alternative if they found that with HR is not assisting them, or being biased, or being discriminatory to them. Conduct domestic investigation on the proper case, and then reinstate dismiss employee lah. If the employee was not guilty, then they should reinstate the dismiss employee. Fourth, on the supply chain disruption, I think this also come back to the general recommendation, having established a risk management committee to look into the supply chain risk. Establish a business continuity plan to ensure that like black swan event or whatever event that is disruption the product, the Adabi is fully prepared. Have supplier diversification program to diversify their suppliers in case of supply chain breakdown. try some initiative like having like long-term contracts or buying from third party to actually complement the strategy. Because Adabi actually wanted a solution that is also quick for them to resolve their governance issue. So we proposed that something of an implementation. We look into what quick wins they can do. Probably for the first quick wins is to actually audit the company wide for governance and control gap, and then implement the Thai related issue, because that was the issue that they are facing right now, that they have to resolve. Launch ethics and training and whistleblower platform, assign independent directors and create a risk management committee for assessment. And then in terms of medium term, integrate COSO ARM into ACISB operations, enhance control for key process and compliance, as mentioned in the recommendation earlier, and plan for contingency for key risks. And then the third is to strengthen ties with regulators, suppliers, and partners for compliance and resilience, and then promote integrity and accountability through organization, culture, and leadership. Okay, bro. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Is. So I'd like to invite the panel. Maybe Dr. Yazis want to give comment first.
Alright, okay, thank you very much, Prof. Congratulations, Wan Ahmad Iskandar, saudara Wan Ahmad Iskandar. Prof panggil Is saya tadi, saya dengar.
Ya, ada.
Right, so is a very good case study. The first thing is, can you share how you approach Adabi, get approval to participate in this case study? I think this must be very valuable insight to the existing student if they want to pursue the same case study like this.
Actually, thank you. But actually, the way I approach Adabi, because the CEO actually is my friend, for childhood friend.
Alright.
So I was surprised. Actually, I had several companies that I wanted to approach, but they didn't have like interesting story on governance. So when I approached my friend, because I didn't expect, because company Dabi is like a big company lah for me, because their revenue is already like 500 million or half a billion.
Okay.
So I didn't expect like issue like governance, like risk management. They are not aware. But when I think about it, because they are actually family run business. So when they are family run business, I think they are more concerned on entrepreneurial side lah. So in terms of compliance, in terms of risk management, that is something that they may be lacking. So there's no special way of getting to approach a company. I managed to approach a company because he's my quite close friend lah. So he was a bit easier to open up his stories.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the feedback. It's because for the case study, that is the I think the most challenges part to get cooperation, to get the approval from the company to participate in the case study. So that is number one. Number two is when you go through from the beginning until now, if you can share, what is the most important risk exposure for the Adabi?
In terms of the 13 risks, let me go back to the slide. To me, I think in this there's like five risks here that is considered high in the net risk rating: competition pressure, non-compliance with law, rising operating costs, and supply chain disruption, and corporate governance weakness. Based on what I see, to me, all five are quite high, but for Adabi, to me, there's two lah. One is competition pressure, because I think in the food segment, it's very competitive. And they need to consistently innovate, diversify their product. Secondly, I think it's compliance with the law, because if they don't comply, it could lead to big reputational damage. For example, if they couldn't comply with halal, or they know some, because right now I think a lot of the consumers are more savvy, and sometimes they can choose to boycott company. I think recently, so Adabi had a case whereby the company was said to I'm not sure. I can't recall. They had like a reputational issue online whereby people are like saying something about the founder, but it was a different person. The founder actually, because the Adabi, there's a two people know Adabi for two things. One for the Adabi tuition, one in Adabi the food. So sometimes they mistaken these two person, and there's a lot of like traction actually uh try to bring down Adabi, try to boycott lah. But Adabi was quick to actually this apa disperse the notion, and then inform that the person is not related to the company.
Okay, maybe this one is the last one question from me. Just some sort like feedback and advice from you is we see that if we are talking about the MCCG, right? MCCG, the implementation, the framework is very clear in terms of how to monitor, how to reporting, how to implement for Berhad company or some sort like the company traded at a Bursa Malaysia, which is a big company. So now we are moving further. We are not only concentrating on a big company, but the governance issues as well as your finding in your study, risk management issues for small and medium enterprise. So in terms of the implementation, how we can go as far as the same standard we implement in Malaysia as a general, as we implement for public listed company. So how should now we do for the small and medium, as what as you learn from this case, and how we can adapt from that? Your advice is?
Based on the case study lah, my involvement and insight on Adabi, I don't have any insight on the company. I think they would need a buffer time. If you want to implement such a policy to, for example, to have all those like MCCG principles being like compulsory, like for example, duality of chairman, diversity of board, and all that, I think it's good. I think they'll have to be forced to do it. I think it's good for their company in the long run, so that they are more aware on corporate governance. Because sometimes these entrepreneurs, they are very good in terms of doing sales, marketing, but in terms of managing, in terms of corporate governance, they are weakness. I think it's good, but I think it should be done in phases. If you can do, I think the business, I think will follow the lead, but there need to be like buffer time, and as well as also like training. I don't know how to adopt the training that people can access all this information, and when they want to implement, they don't feel hard to implement this. So this thing is something that even for company like Adabi, when I ask them like how do you manage this, they don't implement like this ERM COSO framework. What I see that is that they do like piecemeal, or they do SWOT analysis as a alternative strategy to see what the risks, what the challenges they face. But in terms of like risk management framework per se, they don't have it. So I think to do all this, like they need like maybe buffer time as well as a good training to actually instill in the mindset of entrepreneurs that business is not just about making money, but also and how to manage it properly lah. As Prof. Razman always mentioned, that is to do corporate governance is to do business and the proper way.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Is, for the presentation, and congratulations again from me.
Thank you.
From what your presentation and the today presentation, I say that I can understand that basically it is very important for the corporate governance. We have a very good some sort like framework for the public listed or big company. Now we have moving forward to how to make it in terms of the awareness and a good implementation. It must be something we cannot adopt what has been implemented for the public listed. Maybe the small and medium enterprise, they need a different framework in order to help them to have a very good governance, as such as we have exposed with the two different companies with two very important and also the crucial risk exposure and how they deal with it. So with that, thank you, Prof. I return back to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Aziz. Okay, so I'd like to invite Mr. Kenneth for your comment.
Yes, thank you, Is, for the presentation. And I certainly agree with Professor Yazis that when it comes to the MCCG, um, I mean, somebody should be taking the lead to so-called have another so-called framework for non-listed company, in terms of the CG practices and model and the so-called codes. Now, when it comes to the case study by East here, I think certainly today I really benefited from today's session, panel session, in the sense that I managed to listen to two case study based on really real companies, not just a hypothetical case study. And I was also going to ask the same question like Professor Yazid. How do you get to know so much inside this company called Adabi? And because he's your friend. So, question: are you being paid by your friend?
No lah, no.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So it's a voluntary thing by you lah.
It's a voluntary thing, but also it's part of my requirement to complete my study in PBS. So
And
it will
your
be strange if he pays me. So
yeah, but then your friend didn't offer to pay you, or give
no,
you
no, no, no.
give you a free supply of food,
Yeah,
curry sauce,
I mean,
everything.
he does occasionally do pass around the big stuff and all that. But no lah, I think
Yeah, okay. From your case study, I just note a few things lah. Number one, I think what you are given in your facts, the company now got about 2,000 employee, and then there's one point that you stated in your presentation that employee dismissal require the CO termination now. If you got 2,000 employee, I think that would be overkilling the CEO just to look at 2,000 cases of, let's say, people needing his approval to terminate a very low level or junior employee.
I think what you said also is true. But in Adabi, I think the turnover rate is very low. And when such a thing happen, like one incident, staff being terminated, it actually really impacted the company lah. To me, in term of like having the CEO having the final say, he has to know for every 2,000 company. That is how he runs his company. I think because they are a family business, and they are now in between, being in between from a small company to maybe a more bigger medium-sized company to going to a larger company. So the way they run things, maybe they have to review, like maybe like say, like if it's 2,000 company, they also have to review. But
So
so
yeah,
far
so
it's
definitely
been,
your study and your research indicate something which is presented by Lau Xinyan just now about the moderating impact of what we call family relationship on the firm's performance. Because in this case, I noted that the chairman been semi-retired, but yet he's still having a say in the company, whereby a team export team for Thailand reporting directly to him and then bypassing the CEO, the current CEO. So notwithstanding that the so-called incident happened, but again, I think from that event, it shows again what we call the moderating impact of family relationship. Because I think at the end of the day, generally, I think there's always this perception again by employees that the founder is still there. Therefore, we must respect him. And then if he tell us what to do, especially for employee, you can see that there's a difficulty. One is your CEO, one is your chairman, and especially for some of the long-time employee, they may have worked under the chairman before, and then they are now also reporting like a dual reporting to the chairman and then the CEO. There's that struggle again between who really has authority over them. So On that part, I think I noticed from your study and your research that you did not actually what you call it suggest any internal audit function. Same for also Jimmy, I think, because I think one thing that both of you have not really recommended is a so-called internal audit function. Were there any audit function, internal audit function for Adabi?
Yeah, I think in Adabi there's already in internal audit function in Adabi. For like in the recommendation, I think we did suggest that they have to strengthen their internal audit and more audit happening under the internal control strengthening lah. So for Adabi, of course, like I said, the focus I think based on what my the focus is on the they have a compliance like a unit or section, but they don't have like a real corporate governance looking at it. That's why I think there's also importance to have that risk management committee to actually look into like governance issue because it's also part of their strategic objective to be good in governance. But this is not something they are focusing their strategies.
I would think that your friend certainly needs a very important person to assist him in his current so-called management of company. That would be the COO, Chief Operating Officer. Because I think I can notice from your research and study that the board members are all family members, and then probably again that the so-called CEO is their elder brother. So there may be again that so-called holding back of any independent so-called comment or independent suggestion for him to be running it on a more professional level. So perhaps bringing in the so-called outsider COO would be very good for him to so-called overhaul his complete structure. Last thing I just wanted to highlight or share with everyone, I think from what we can see from the two case study, I think especially for Adabi, it is also positioning itself as the halal so-called manufacturer in terms of even the pet food, because I can see from the billboard as I drive along somewhere, I think Jalan Sultan Aslan Shah, I've noticed that they also are doing a lot of strong marketing on their pet food and on a halal so-called team as well. I think maybe even a suggestion for Professor Rasman. Islamic governance, if you look at it, in terms of corporate governance, we are looking at the Western model, and then when we look at enterprise risk management, more on the Western model. How about marrying or rather bringing in Islamic values and Islamic governance into our study here? Really helps Malaysia to position itself as a halal center in it, I think. So because if you look at it from everything else, like Adabi, when you say diversifying their supplier, so they really will have a lot of challenge in terms of supplier because they are manufacturing halal food. Therefore, their supplier must be also involved in halal manufacturing or what you call it, the halal so-called supply chain. So at the moment, I think in terms of one, you're in the Ministry of International Trade. Do you have a directory of what you call it is halal so-called directory?
If I'm not mistaken, HDC lah, because HDC is a Halal Development Corporation. It's a agency under MITI, and Matrade also have this halal exporters. So they do have this halal database on what companies are supplying what products.
But are they promoting any networking among them?
For MITI, of course, for exports like Matrade, they do have like business matching lah when they do exports and all that. For Halal Development Corporation, I think they do have promotion because but I'm not sure what the event because I'm not involved. So, but they do have some platforms to actually promote halal businesses. But whether they so what kind of event I cannot tell you the example.
Good. I mean, because it's because you're in the government sector, and then I think it's good that you all get your finding that you can share. Huh? Yeah. Okay. But thank you so much for your presentation. I learned a lot from your case studies and really found a lot of insights from them as well. And to Dr. Rasman, I think it's really a credit to you that you have so many students speaking so highly of you. It certainly shows your leadership and your guidance.
Thank you, Mr. Kenneth. All right. Okay. For very valuable comment. For sure, we will look into the possibilities of having research or case studies focusing on the human aspect of governance, like human governance and Islamic government governance. Thank you also, Is, for your presentation. So finally, we have come towards the end of the event. It's 12 o'clock. I think the Nasi Kerabu, Nasi Dagang is calling us. So hopefully this colloquium has proven to be beneficial for those attending, especially to the PBS MBA students and MAICSA members. We will upload the session on this session on our PBS website once it's ready. All the previous 6 colloquium have already been uploaded under the MAICSA page within PBS website. So you can always watch it over YouTube. And we also will make it into compilation of this research into an e-book. It's actually available to purchase at PBS Shopee, but this free copy also made available to MAICSA library. And on behalf of PBS, I would like to express our sincerest thanks and appreciation to all involved with this event, starting with MAICSA, especially Dato' Akbar, MAICSA President, and 2 MAICSA panelists, Mr. Kenneth Fupokian and Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Yaziz Alibasa. Finally, to all our 4 amazing presenters, and thank you for all your findings, insights, and sharing. And of course, for the audience, especially the students and MAICSA members, all of you guys have been very amazing. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in the next edition of PBS MAICSA Colloquium. And that's all. Thank you so much for joining the session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good day. Have a very good weekend to all of you. Thank you. And bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Razman.
Thank you, Prof.
Yeah.
Bye. Prof, thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Prof.